Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of the Four Pillars podcast. I'm one of your hosts, one of the pillars, Tyler, joined of course by the other three pillars because the four of us are always here. James, George, Ethan, lads, how are we going?
It's going good.
Funny you should ask that.
Ethan's off air for those who don't know. Ethan's been telling us.
Ethan's off air for those who don't know.
I'm
He's
off
not
air.
actually here.
I'm
He's
no
just-
longer
No, he's off air.
I'm no
But
longer
off
on the
air,
air.
Ethan
I'm
was
off
telling
air.
us about something that fell into his lap and he can't wait to share. So this is for us. You're jumping into it, but for us, we've been waiting. We've been waiting for this.
Okay, so far my 2022 has been going abhorrently. Dog's dead, single again, shit happens, right?
Yeah.
However, a positive has happened in my life right at the end of this cold where I thought I'm at with my wit's end. And that is that I have found God. Or more accurately, God has found me.
Oh my God.
So, to celebrate the
yeah.
fact that I have found God, I have put myself in the clothing that a man of God would wear. Just a regular shirt that's buttoned up all the way to the top for no fucking reason because men of God like to strangle themselves. And also, I've got it tucked in at the belt, so I feel sophisticated. It's not perfect because I'm a new man of God. So obviously, there's some room for improvement. However, the reason for
Ethan, what the fuck are you saying? What the fuck?
Shut up! Let me tell my fucking story.
He's
alright?
getting there.
I don't interrupt you. Just check the group chat on the Book of Faces, and you can see the blasphemer site. You can see that I am a man of God now. It's
Your shirt is tucked
You
in.
are. You do look. Yeah, you do look like
I
you're
am a
about
man
to.
of
You
God,
know. Yeah.
and my camera is blurred up. But don't worry about it. I'll fix that, and then
God will
we'll forget
fix it.
about.
I'm sending this
God
photo
will
to
fix
Josh and
it.
everyone's going to see
Go
it,
on.
just so you're aware of that.
Beautiful
Oh,
picture.
for fuck's sake! It's
beautiful
it's
picture.
really
So-
not behaving. Hang on, let me change the light. That always does it.
So that'll be up on screen for the people at home.
There
So
we go.
what
Amazing.
happened was, it just gets blurrier. I've got to tell this story at some point. God, fix my camera. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Right, so, there we go. God did it.
God coming in clutch.
God's will. He did it. Right, so the reason why I'm doing this is because about 30 minutes, 15 minutes, something like that, before we started the call to start recording. It was probably about 3 hours ago now. It's not. It's an exaggeration, but I got a suspicious envelope that said Mr. Ethan Woodgate. And so obviously somebody knows how to push my buttons.
Your name very right
'cause
there.
I don't like when people miss the S off the end because it's such a common mistake for some reason. I don't understand it. And what I found inside of it was a New Testament Bible,
Okay. Yep.
a little pamphlet that says "Trust in Christ,"
Yep.
and a CD that says "So, who is Jesus?" So as you can imagine, now I've got plenty of wanking material. Anyway, what came with it also was a bit of a letter, and somebody has signed me up to an evangelist church. Basically, is what's happened.
Like
Yeah.
a friend has
Fuck.
signed you up.
A friend.
To a church.
I know exactly who it is. There's only so many people it could be. So in the moment I saw this and opened it, I sent him pictures and went, I only have so many guesses. And so he knew the game was up. So here's what it says. Dear Ethan, thank you for writing for further information about what it means to become a real Christian. What I like about this is it took effort. So someone went to strange lengths to communicate with a man of God to turn me into a man of God.
That is true.
Please find enclosed the items you requested, which I trust you will find helpful. Many.
It's like an RPG.
It is. It's like I've got a quest.
Master Witcher.
It's like many people feel that their only hope of heaven depends on what they do. However, the Bible clearly teaches that our sin is so serious that nobody could ever get to God or heaven by their own efforts. Out of love, the Lord Jesus Christ came to earth with the express mission of going to the cross to die. That seems kind of bleak, to be honest. The most you ever want this is in paying the penalty of our sins. Why did God do... I have a question. Why did God go, I've got a son now, but kill him? Like, why did God do that?
God
Because
works in
it's his will.
mysterious ways.
He works
And
in
he fixed my
mysterious
fucking
ways,
camera
it's true.
blur. The bastard. Why didn't he just
But
go
he is
and...
also God. Jesus is also God. He's not just the son.
Yeah,
of God.
true.
He's like,
he is also God as well.
He's
isn't
like the
he?
slither of the cube from Transformers. He's like a slither of God.
He is. Exactly.
Sure. That's a great comparison, George. Thank you so
You're
fucking much
welcome.
for that one.
I'm all
This is
about.
not what people expected
about
when they
Burns
saw
through
Halo
Sam
Infinite
Witwity's
spoiler cast.
table. That's what Jesus does.
Okay, can we get back to the topic, please?
Yeah, sorry.
Because
Yeah,
otherwise
yeah,
we'll be
yeah.
here all year and people want to talk about
Halo.
Halo. I promise it's worth it because God is right. I mean, here we go. God, look, blah blah blah. The letter is basically, it was dated late January, so this has been in the pipeline for a while.
Oh my God.
Anyway, on the opening of the pamphlet, it says something that made me sort of tickle. It said, okay, here it says, the most important thing in life is to make sure that all is right between God and us individually. I'd like to say that the most important thing in life is probably not starving to death. However, I've been enlightened.
Even me.
Well, here we go. The Bible tells us how this is possible. God is pure, clean, holy and just. But in his sight, we are all sinful and therefore unfit to know him. So I have questions. Why the fuck did he make us? And
Yeah, what the fuck? What a prick. What
to
an
cap
absolute
off-
dickhead.
We
to
are
cap off this
unfit to
adventure
know.
before I tell... To cap off this adventure before I reveal the identity of the bastard who sent me this, I have a little bit of a passage from the 69th page of the New Testament.
Oh my goodness. Okay, yeah, go.
So here it is. It's subtitled, if you will, "The Healing of Two Demon-Possessed Men." As you can imagine, perfect. The 69th page, that, and it goes. When he arrived at the other side of the region of the Gadarenes, two demon-possessed men coming from the tombs met him. I don't understand the
Is this
what
manga?
came before.
What is this?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
This is the origin story of manga. This is, we're
It's
not
the
doing this
first
to
manga ever.
I'm not reading this to disrespect God. I'm just talking about my enlightenment. All the humor is.
Yeah,
But yeah,
just
you
to
better
cover our back.
clarify
I'm
that.
laughing.
Because
Just cover our
back.
if,
God,
because
if
if
you're
he is
listening.
real, we are 100% not making our way
If
to heaven
God's
after this
listening,
one.
I'm sorry.
I mean, we're
If
not
God-
worthy to know him anyway.
True.
Like, you know, it's a pretty toxic relationship.
No,
honestly.
listen, right. He's sat here and he's going. I thought you were going to talk about Halo, for fuck's sake.
Eventually,
Yeah,
eventually. We've got
God's in
things
the
to catch
comments.
up
He's like,
on.
where are the
Yeah.
fucking timestamps?
That's right.
We'll get there, don't worry. It said, okay, I forgot where I'm up to. Let me find it. Okay. They were so violent that no one could pass that way. What do you want with us, son of God? They shouted. Have you come here to torture us before the appointed time? This is like
The
some strange
appointed
foreplay
time.
to a porno, isn't it? It's just like, what the fuck? That's like, some distance from them, a large herd of pigs was feeding. The demons begged Jesus, if you drive us out, send us into the herd of pigs. He said to them, go. So they came out and went into the pigs, and the whole herd rushed down the steep bank into the lake and died in the water.
No.
Those tending the pigs ran off. Okay, so thou shalt not kill, but it's perfectly fine to ruin a man's livelihood.
Yeah,
Oh,
poor
man.
guys.
I feel like I'm in
Um,
It's for
RE
the greater
again.
good, though. It's for the greater good.
Those tending the pigs ran off, went into the town and reported all this, including what had happened to the demon-possessed men. Then the whole town went out to meet Jesus, and when they saw him, they pleaded with him to leave their region.
Oh my God.
And to be honest, it's some fucking weirdo.
They're like,
Rocks
Jesus,
up
get
and kills
out,
my
man.
What are you
pigs.
doing? You're
You know,
You
sending
sent
all
the
pigs
demons into
away.
the pigs.
some demon rocked up and killed my pigs. I too would tell that man to leave. Otherwise
Yeah,
I'd probably
yeah. Bad
do him
guy.
in.
Is there like
But
a
that was-
name of what church this is?
It's
Christian
an evangelist church of some sort.
Yeah, but George, there's a lot of different Christian.
The specific
It's
church.
evangelist.
Yeah, what
So that-
faction
I've
it
got-
is? Which
I've
faction
got-
in the Christians?
I've got a nice letter from a man
Okay,
named Roger.
it's the word's denomination, but that's fine.
I
I've got a
don't
nice
care.
letter from a man named Roger, and that's it. Okay.
It says from
This is
Roger.
Craig
alright.
Smith.
Oh, God.
Okay, so before
It's Roger Craig Smith.
I'm not going to read what it says next because it's a new subtitle, which means it's a new passage. However, the subtitle in itself is amazing. It reads, Jesus heals a paralytic.
Oh, that's a
my
classic.
favourites.
As
That
you can
is a
imagine,
classic,
that's my
actually.
favorite. That's my favorite thing. So, yeah, I did not expect to find God this early in 2022. I'm
I'm glad you
open-minded.
have though. I'm
I have found God, and now
happy for you.
And the mastermind behind this prank was... He went all the way to Chester for this. He went all the way physically to fucking Chester to get the information of this church, and then wrote into it and got this fucking this nonsense sent to me. And that is none other than, you guys know him. You haven't heard from him in a while. Possibly years, since the Swag days.
Oh my god.
George, you've got a more recent memory. He threw money at you, which is a very godly act.
Classic,
It's come from none other than the train enthusiast Connor Jones.
Of course, yeah, no, that makes perfect
So-
sense, yeah.
That does make sense.
So I've just been enlightened by God, basically,
By a
and it's a
servant
nice.
of
It's
God.
Are you going to
That's
bring it
good.
to the community? Like, are you trying to go? Are you going to start like a little cult of your own?
listen. It's an
Conversion?
evangelist. It's an evangelist church, man. They're quite a preachy bunch. I reckon I could probably do it.
Okay.
Evangelist.
Yeah,
However-
I think it's time to bring religion to the community. It's been our arc, pretty much.
However, I am really excited to when I'm bored tonight read "So Who is Jesus."
You get to read the next
I don't know.
arc.
I don't know why I'm laughing so hard at James saying it's our arc, pretty much. Like, I sort of thought about what he said. I was like,
We've gone from being
Well, we've got
that
so
makes
I don't
sense for
like
our
really
story
bunch.
arc that we would just be preaching religion. I'm like, wait, what?
we go around in a circle. You know, we go from being
Right.
AC fans to like really hard conservatives to we're going back into being a bit liberal again. We get a bit of pushback from one person in the comments, and we become Christians.
Exactly. We're no
Yeah.
longer communist. Whatever the fuck that person said, I completely forgot.
There's
Exactly.
a picture of a
Oh my
really lovely man, which I'm going to show everyone on the podcast, but you guys won't be able to see it. It's a really lovely man, and it says Christian under it.
Is his
Which I
name
think
that's
Christian?
Christian.
No,
or
it says
is all-
trust in
is it-
Christ. This is a really strange depiction of
Is
Christ.
that Christ?
It's a very strange depiction of him, if it
He's
is.
back.
I'm gonna headcanon that it is him. Yeah.
God,
It is
when's
Christ.
the Bible 2 coming out? Fucking hell, I've
I
been
wanna
waiting
know,
so
man.
long for Bible 2.
I am
We're
honestly
living the Bible
surprised.
2 right now, George. We're living it right now.
No, we're bloody not.
True. We're
Because if you know
we're
anything
writing
about
it as we go.
QAnon and the purpose is that Donald Trump was sent by God to save us all. So
What's he bloody
There
doing
you go.
now?
I don't even have
Yeah.
to do the preaching, guys. Like,
yeah,
I thought,
we're
I
living
am-
we're living the Bible too, George. We're living it, bro.
from here on
Oh,
out,
That's
you
amazing.
call me
I can
Pastor
tell my
Woodgate,
grandkids that I lived in the
alright?
Bible
I can
too.
be a protagonist in my own book.
This is amazing. I hope my story gets submitted into the Bible too.
Yeah, there's lots of
Assassin's Creed
stories.
Revolution. I'm going to submit that one when they start
Tifa.
compiling the Bible too.
And the
from all of the
Flighters.
stories. And the Flighters and Tifa are going to be main characters.
Oh, this is incredible. On one of the pages in the pamphlet, it goes, "If you're in need of any spiritual help or advice, ask the person who gave you this booklet, or write
Oh,
to the
wow.
address at the
Fuck,
back."
you know,
And there is
You're
actually an
fucked.
address at the back that's been crossed out twice. So I'm not sure if I trust
you
it. I
go
think
to
it's
the
gone
most
dodgy,
recent
actually.
one. It's
Wow.
just an
I found
abandoned house.
I found another strange second coming of Christ. There's another picture in here, and you guys can't see it, but everyone else can. And I think that's the joy of it, because you're
I
gonna
just have to
watch the
guess
podcast
really
back.
what this man looks
I'm
I'll
like.
just
send-
imagining like
Boys,
just
do you want me to send you the pictures? Because I mean,
You can if you want.
I mean, yes, of course.
you're gonna
yeah.
look at these and go, "Fuck me, Christ fell off."
He used to be a
What's
beautiful
all Christ
man
all
with
about?
luscious long hair and a beard. Well, to be fair, Moist Critical is the second coming of Christ, isn't he? He looks very much like
yeah,
Jesus.
that's actually true. That's a good point.
And he goes, "Yeah, baby." That's what
He
Christ
does do that, yeah.
He does do
That's
that
what
a lot.
Christ is all about.
There are the two comings of Christ.
Oh yeah, look, that does look like Christ.
Wait, where have you
Yeah,
sent
you
it
go.
into the Facebook?
You know
group
what?
chat?
The first one I wasn't sold on. I reckon that's Roger. The second one, that does look like Christ.
That's a woman.
Yeah,
isn't it?
that is Christ. Yeah, I think you're right.
Well, the Bible 2 is not going to be a Ubisoft game, is it? So
No, who
No,
says
They've
not
got,
with
they've
those-
got a
that-
female
not with those
protagonist.
two.
They've got a female protagonist this time in Bible 2.
they do.
a woman.
They
The Bible
do.
tells a female protagonist. That is quite
Exactly.
progressive of
That's
God.
pretty good. That's
It's
why we're
the
Christians. That's why we've moved on. To
Yeah.
this,
Yeah, exactly.
beautiful-
Well, that was
Well
an insightful way to start my day
God.
that I was not expecting, and it threw me off a little bit
was
because
quite-
whatever I was going to say beforehand has gone out the window because I'm now a man of God, so it doesn't matter, clearly.
Yeah, that's
So-
true. Well, it's good for you.
Yeah, exactly. So, unfortunately, though, I don't think I'm going to stick to it because I'm not very good with commitment. Furthermore, I think I'll probably show up to one sermon to spite Connor.
It
just
means
to
you
be
can
like,
get
look
some
at.
free bread and some free wine.
I hope I get some free bread and wine, but it's in
What is
Chester
it,
and I'd have to drive home.
1850, George?
What, do people not fucking do that
Just
anymore?
a bit of bread.
Oh,
and wine.
sorry.
Yeah,
to
you need a bit of
survive.
bread and wine, so
Sorry
you go
that
to the
I didn't think
church.
I
fucking
would
Christianity
really
was
trust-
still getting involved in antiquated bollocks, as if that isn't what the fucking entire thing is. Alright, sorry.
Yeah, you go-
1850.
Yeah,
I
you
would
go.
not-
You get christened, and they give you wine or something. I don't know.
I wouldn't
horrible
trust a
about the
church
issue.
that you
From
walk in and go,
communion, you-
bread's a bit outdated,
Oh,
so it's
shut
got
up,
some
you
kebabs,
fucking
you know?
prick.
I'm a bit confused. I'm a bit.
Sorry, that was
I
the
think he
Lord
was talking to
speaking
me.
through
Yeah, he was
me.
definitely talking to me. James would only talk to me that way.
Yeah, I was definitely talking to Tyler,
Okay, well there you
correcting
go.
me
So-
on the technicalities of Christian services. I don't.
I was doing it to George.
I'm not
before, and
fucking
like,
about it.
Well, what
This
a
is
way
gonna
to
bother
start
them.
a fucking Halo Infinite podcast, man. What the hell, man? Oh god.
We
sorry.
started it in the weirdest possible way. Because
I'm ready for the
Sure.
comment that says you'd probably get
What?
more views if you just got straight into the topic instead of talking all of this shit
I'm waiting for the
beforehand.
comment that goes, spoiler cast starts here, thank me later.
Like
I
it
don't
won't
like
be in the
fun
fucking
guys.
timestamps. Like it won't be in the
Listen,
fucking timestamps.
we'll bring it back to God at the end, and I won't read another sermon
Yeah,
because
'cause
fuck me, this book is
In the end, it all
weird.
comes back to God.
In the
Yes.
end, yeah.
In the end, it was God's will for us to talk about him before we spoke about Halo. He's probably a bit. He's probably like all these fucking sycophants. They just keep talking about me. I just want to watch a Halo spoiler cast
He's
or
got a
something.
lot of time on his hands, so he's got
It's
time
got
to
it's
kill.
got he's got a lot of time on his hands, and he's like, who the fuck wrote this book? You know. So
Yeah, who the hell wrote the Bible, man? I didn't write this shit.
where did it come from? Like, did the Bible just rock up one day and people were like, oh, sound?
It was written by...
A new Bible just dropped.
Sit down, George. I'll tell you the story of the Bible if you really want to know. If you
God.
really want to know, we can get deep into it instead of Halo. Let's talk about the
Yeah,
Bible.
if you guys want
How
to
it was
just
made.
not do
That's
Halo
how the
today
Bible
and
came
just-
to be, how it
just
came
do
into
Bible.
existence.
It's the Bible spoiler cast.
Yeah,
That's what it
let's
is.
start with the Book of Genesis.
Yeah, it's my favourite.
This is a New Testament, all right? We don't have the Book of Genesis.
Can we do
Wait,
Noah's
what?
Ark, please?
Then
Noah's Ark is
we'll
also not in the New Testament, so I don't have that.
No,
to
it's
hand.
all Old Testament, isn't it?
I do, however.
The Old
have-
Testament's the best, though.
I
The
do,
Old Testament's
however.
definitely. Oh, if we're real talk, the Old Testament shits all over the New Testament. There's no
Yeah,
doubt. I know
definitely.
Jesus is in the New Testament. But fuck that shit. The Old Testament is OG as fuck. It's awesome.
Listen here,
It's
Tyler. Get your
violent.
fucking rose-tinted glasses off, all right?
Okay.
You
found-
you don't
I
want
found a page
change.
that
You
says
don't want the
warning
New
against
Testament.
Antichrist.
That's what sells
I'm
these
happy.
days, all right? The Old Testament, it's old news. Fuck you.
The
The
next
Old Testament's
Bible was
fucking
going to
Game
have...
of Thrones. It's
So, how
fucked
did you spend the
up.
first 20 minutes of this Halo Infinite spoiler cast? Well, I had this funny idea about speaking about God, and it just derailed
You
into
set
a
these men
Bible
off into
spoiler cast.
fucking tangents of nonsense.
I was not expecting to get spoken over that much. That is not a way to treat a place of worship.
That's
my,
true.
my-
I shouldn't
my
have done
mother's
that to
base
the
is
priest
not a
of the
place
podcast.
worship. So
You're right.
I am
Ethan-
Father Woodgates.
Father Woodgates, the official priest of the Four Pillars Network.
He will.
So if you need
Bring us
any
salvation.
sins, we could make a real fucked up like advice show, like called like confessionals,
God.
and it's like people sending
Oh.
like confessions to Ethan, and he reacts to them and gives them advice. Oh,
Yeah.
we've got
How-
to make that a show on this network.
Okay,
Oh
Connor
my
Jones,
God.
what the fuck have you done?
Could be a
Really?
segment. Could be a Four Pillars
Confessions.
podcast segment.
Yes, and it can be a short form thing of like 30 minutes. A bunch of people write in with confessions, and it's not them necessarily ask for advice. It's them admitting something embarrassing or something.
Admitting
bad
something,
they've
yeah,
done.
confessions, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
no,
Okay.
that would actually be so sick.
Type your confessions in the
Right,
comments.
I
No, we get some
If
fucking
any of you are
weirdos
fucking weird,
telling
I'm
us
not
about how
Anonymous
they
Bible.
killed a
confessions.
dog.
Yeah,
I love
Yeah,
that.
but
I'll
that's
time.
it. The more fucked
It's
up, the better, I
anonymous.
think.
It's
Everyone
anonymous,
has
confessions.
yeah.
We will
At
never
once.
say the name of the person who sent it in.
I will. I'll fucking leak it.
Why?
I'll dox them for fucking even writing in.
We should set up like an anonymous service, almost like the anonymous reporting service that Ubisoft implemented for the misconduct things, except we'll use it for confessions.
yeah.
Whereas
I
they
want
won't.
the people in the comments, if you want the confessions podcast to be a thing, please put it in the comments.
Yeah.
Because this is a
Yes.
great idea for a show. This is a great bit.
It would
News-
actually be
news
really
happened.
good, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll be selling this New Testament.
And we'll all
on
make
eBay.
money.
What I'll do is I'll have a bath with it and then I'll sell it for lots of money. And I hope it
This
works.
is a big moment. I feel like this is like the future of the network. Will
Yeah,
be
it's
Ethan-
a
Father Woodgates.
revelation, some might say.
Father Woodgates.
Yeah.
You get it? That's a
Oh.
Bible. That's a chapter in the
Yeah.
Bible.
What the
that is,
fuck
like-
even is this channel at this point?
The Confessions podcast, hosted by Father Woodgates.
Hosted by Founded Scarab and Walshy.
Oh yeah,
my
no.
God.
I do also have a communist manifesto, but we won't get into that. So I've got
God, thank God.
Thank God.
I've got plenty of reading material to be getting on with.
Plenty of
wonderful.
You've got it
wank
covered, mate.
material.
Wank material. No, I've got a video for that. I'm happy.
It's a video of Karl Marx.
It's So Who Is This Jesus? It literally is just called title. So Who Is This Jesus? Question mark.
Who is he?
And it says discovering.
Who could it be? Who could it be? Who is this Jesus?
I'm dr-
It was made in 2004. Some people listening are younger than this CD, so these could be some old dodgy people by now.
That's fucked up. Father Woodgate, official
That's
official
nasty.
priest.
God heal me.
Priest.
Right.
Yeah. Yes.
Priest, yeah.
Reverend.
Right.
Yeah,
Pastor.
priest of the Four Pillars Network, of the Four Pillars community. So send your confessions in to Ethan's DMs, and they will be
for
read on a
fuck's-
podcast anonymously.
Right, okay,
That's
quickly
happening.
hop to Twitter,
yeah.
settings, close DMs.
No, keep them open. Send them to me. I'll keep them and make Ethan read them.
Okay,
Oh,
yeah, I'm alright with that. You
um,
feed them to me, and then I just
Yeah,
I'm
pick the
fine
best
with that.
ones.
then I just
Yeah, I've got-
give
yeah.
some really twisted advice. We'll
I
put a
reckon we'll
disclaimer
get
at the
some
start that
fucked
says-
up shit, boys. I can't wait for this.
Yeah, that's
I
what
reckon
we
it'll be
want.
like really fucked up. Oh god.
We'll start with.
If we do like a Google Forms thing or something, I don't know, so that they can be anonymous.
So
to
they can
everyone,
be
including
actually
us.
completely anonymous, yeah, because
I
then
got-
you get
yeah.
the best ones.
I mean, are we really going
But then
deep
pu-
on this?
Yeah, I no.
Yeah,
I,
let's
this
do
is
it. Let's
happening.
do it. People love
Yeah, I love
confessions.
it.
Have you seen those like viral videos of people like read out anonymous confessions from people? They're everywhere on YouTube. People do that a
Yeah.
lot.
And priests are also like normally you can't dress up as a group of people and make fun of them, but priests you can because they're white and they're pedophiles.
Exactly.
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 You know?
which is
Well,
exactly
not all
why
of them,
I have
most of
unbuttoned
them.
the
All
top
of
button of
them.
my shirt
Allegedly.
because I don't want to be grouped in with some naughty kiddie fiddlers. You know, like that's
No.
not that's. I feel like that would go against every other message we've
The
sent so
fuck
far.
are we even
No,
talking
I
about
mean-
right now?
Anyway,
I've called myself Father
Anyway.
Woodgates, then we've realised that priests and bishops are nonces, and so we're in
Confessions
trouble.
podcast. It's happening.
I
I'm-
suppose the fact that I call this wanking material might already make me like a de facto nonce because I don't know what's on
My
it.
fucking God, can we
God.
stop?
Let's- yeah.
What's happening?
I'm,
So,
I'm,
what do you guys think of Halo?
no, hang on. We're not jumping from that to that. That can't. We'll keep that. For, We need to spread that out.
Tyler, what do you think of
Uh,
Halo?
Oh, Jesus. We'll get in. We'll get in. I do feel like I need to address the fact that I'm drinking out of this fucking ginormous water bottle.
Why?
Like, why am I drinking so much water?
Is it
Because
holy
you want to
water?
be hydrated, man. I'm not. No one's judging
No,
you.
no. I get it. Like I'm doing it my first
Holy
test
water.
water cut, like weight cut for my fight.
Mm-hmm.
And I've cut down all the fat and done all the dieting I need. And this week's water cutting, but to cut water and dehydrate yourself, like I've got to lose 5 kilos in the next 6 days, and it's all going to be, or mostly going to be, just water weight. But I've got to water load first, so I've had to drink 8 liters of water today,
So you got to water yourself like a
That
plant.
is a lot of pissing.
and then you can no longer eat. You need to keep sodium and salt out of your diet, and I'm already only eating like 1,200 calories a day anyway. So
Man,
fuck
I'd get
all.
3 days
And
into that and go, fuck it, doner kebab.
Yeah,
That'd be me.
So, I'm fucking. I feel fucking skinny right now, but I'm like bloated as fuck because I'm now on. I've got probably 500 milliliters of my last bit. So I've had 7.5 liters. That's 2 gallons of water today.
Jesus fucking Christ.
And yeah, I've peed maybe 11, 12 times. So
when you went to say 11, I thought you were gonna say a little bit, like now, like
No,
you've just
like
done it
just
now, like a little
like,
bit on the
oh
ground.
my yeah, I'm mid piss. But I just wanted to address why I'm doing that. Because I feel like it's
Because you're a
sort of-
psycho.
I'm just imagining like some fucking
It is a bit-
comical bottle of water, just like bigger than you.
It's like it looks like a normal bottle of
Yeah,
water,
yeah. It's
like
just
I
massive.
have.
It's close to the
just
size
really
of my
big.
head. It's close to the
Yeah.
size of my head. Yeah, I guess, yeah, it's big.
But
It's
is it
2
holy
litres.
water? That's what I want to know.
No, it's 2 liters, and it's just been like. from
Is
morning-
it holy water? Nah, it's 2 liters.
No, it can't
Sorry, I
be.
missed
It
what you
can't
said.
be.
It's the
I
worst
missed what you
podcast
said.
ever.
This is the worst podcast we've done. Throw it all away. I can't.
I feel like this is the
brilliant.
best one.
It's brilliant.
Oh
I've been talking
my
about
fucking
God for the
God.
past fucking
But
hour
this is
long.
why I'm like, I literally have just had water in my hand from 9 a.m. now till 9:45 p.m. It's been just
Well,
non-stop.
imagine you've been carrying it like you've cupped your hands. You've got water. You're
It's
carrying
been
it
this everywhere I've
around.
gone all day.
I've been
Right.
using my
This is
hand
just
as a
a bottle of
receptacle
water.
all day, man.
I'm too sick for
Oh my
this.
god.
So I have a question, right? So you've got to cut the water weight. That
Yeah.
sounds a little bit on the dangerous side.
Yeah,
I'm aware
it's not,
that
it's not good for you.
What the fuck are you doing it then, you absolute madman?
Because this is what you have to do. This is what you do. This is what you have to do. And to make the weight that I'll be fighting at, I need to know that I can make it. I actually think I can make the weight class.
why do you
below
need to
it,
be a?
given
I've
a
always
few-
wondered.
a few more weeks.
I've
What's
always
that?
wondered why do you need to be a specific weight to chin some cunt?
Because there's different weight classes.
So chin the referee. Then you're sweet.
Yeah, that's not a. This is martial arts. This isn't just you know.
You get to prove to
No,
someone.
Tyler's just going down the pub to fight someone. He just wants to make sure he's
I'm not.
prepared.
Yeah.
No, I know what he's doing, and I respect that. But I find it a little
Yeah.
bit strange that you've got to indulge in something that's like
Oh, the weight
almost
cut.
like
The weight
unhealthy
cut.
obsessing.
The weight cut's a part of the sport, unfortunately. But I'm on the. I'm on. I feel like the easier side. Like I've gotten down really well to a good weight before I've done the water cut, so I'm not losing. I'm losing. Some people lose twice as much as me in that week leading up to the fight and the water cutting. So I've got 8 liters of water today. I got to drink 8 liters tomorrow, and then I got a half at 4 liters, 2 liters, 1 liter. Then on the day I'm weighing in, just to wet your mouth, nothing else. And then I also need to be like hitting a sauna, hot bath, sweating everything out that I can sweat as well.
Jesus, aren't you gonna
Yeah,
feel
and the
like
re-
shit?
Yeah, it's gonna be rough.
How are you
But
gonna
I'll
fight
post videos.
feeling
I'll
like
post-
that though?
I'll post videos because you weigh in 24 hours before, so then you have 24 hours to rehydrate. And there's a whole other science behind that, so you can
Oh. What's the
optimally
point then?
rehydrate, mate. It just is what it is, and it will never change. So
That makes no sense.
yeah, so
Yeah.
they need to hit the weight, then they have 24 hours to rehydrate before they fight. So
Jesus.
yeah,
Day
so
3
then I
in the
need to like
sauna.
indulge
Right.
in salt and eat some like I'm gonna eat on Friday
this
night.
because
I'll
of
weigh in, and then I'm down the Gold Coast going to a festival with all my mates the next day. So like they'll all be there helping me lose the last bit, and then we're eating pizzas. And I'm not probably won't drink any beers for 24 hours though, because I reckon that will be rough on my system when I'm like
Yeah.
the lightest I've been as an adult by a landslide.
How light will you be?
I'll be 70 kilos.
That is.
And
No,
2 weeks ago, I was
that's what that
80
means.
kilos. I was 80 kilos. So I've cut, just through dieting and working out, 5 kilos almost in the last 2 weeks.
That's mad.
So now the rest will be water.
So congratulations on your suffering.
Thank you.
You
I
do it
need
for
it.
God. I'm going to stop for that
Penance.
now. 'cause
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
It's actually
This
starting
is
to
the
piss
end
me
of
off.
my athletes for the day.
You're giving up eating and water for Lent.
You did it because
Yeah.
Jesus sacrificed himself
Lent.
for you.
Remember when Jesus walked
This
through
is-
the desert and he didn't have a fish or something? Now you
Oh yeah,
give
that's
up
me.
as well.
That's me. That's
Oh,
me.
man.
That's why I'm just eating unseasoned chicken and broccoli. That's
Sounds
for-
just
That's
like
what
Jordan
Jesus did, yeah.
Peterson's diet.
To be fair, I feel really good. I feel really good. Other than one day I was rough, but
I feel
reckon
really good
it'll be-
other than the
Yeah.
fact that I'm literally
Alright.
physically dying.
I just need to piss a lot, and I'm drowning my body quite literally as well. So
Waterboarding
Okay.
it.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
Well,
Terrific.
good luck. Good luck.
cheers.
Wish you the best.
Yeah.
I'll post videos once I weigh.
Yeah.
In. Anyway,
Can you post
Okay.
videos of you?
George,
chipping
have you been watching any weird shit lately?
What,
Well-
like recommended stuff? I don't
Yeah.
have anything
Nah,
in
it's
mind.
general.
Because I thought we were going to come on and talk about Halo Infinite today, so I didn't think about anything.
Why? I don't care about that. I forgot. That was like ages ago. I don't know what happened. In Halo.
Just say
I don't
you've been
remember.
watching So Who Is This Jesus?
I've been watching. Actually, not much to be honest.
Fair
I've
play.
been watching basically nothing. There's nothing in my recommended that stood out at me. I didn't even know I should be looking in my recommended, to be honest, for this episode.
Honestly, I think we should actually just talk about Halo now.
Yeah.
How long do you
I
reckon we
think
can
so.
talk about Halo for? How long do you reckon we can stretch that out for? Because I reckon
Oh
a
no,
good
but we just spent
20
half an hour
minutes.
talking about God. I reckon we could do something.
20 minutes.
Yeah, I don't have a lot. It's old news. I'm over it. to be
You're
honest.
old fucking news.
I'm with James, but
I'm just
we
over
will
it.
talk
Like, it
about
was really good
Yeah.
at the time. Loved it. I had a good time. Now I'm just over it.
So talk about it as if it is the time.
I can't do that. I'm not a very good
Fuck
actor. I
me.
can't
We
get
came
in
into
the
this
mindset.
podcast with no
Mate,
plan.
You're gonna fake it, like I'm gonna fake it as well, James.
No, I'm not.
Tyler's
I
been
don't fake
faking
it.
for
It's gonna be
years
real.
on these podcasts.
It's gonna be real.
I've literally been faking it for years.
Exactly.
Oh well. Joke's on you, cause so have I.
Yeah. No, it's not really a joke. We all knew.
Yeah. You know. Yeah. When we sat and talked about the Jack the Ripper DLC for 2.5 hours, that was fake.
That was not fake. That was one of the things that was real. You were excited about it. If you can talk about the fucking Jack the Ripper expansion, you can talk about Halo Infinite, you bastard.
Yeah. How about we just
Well-
talk about AC Rift instead? How about
No.
We could do that.
No.
Okay.
that? You're like, yeah, we can
No.
do that.
I can fucking do that.
We could chat shit about it, but I mean, I've already done that. I've already sort of ripped it a new one.
I
and
think
gone
if
fucking
we were
full for it.
doing a regular podcast, not a spoiler cast, then yeah, we could. But let's talk about Halo.
Let's talk about Halo.
let's-
it's what
let's
people want.
talk
It's what
Yeah,
God
watch
wants.
Ethan's video on it if you want our thoughts on it, because it's certainly my thoughts.
Yeah,
And
me
James's
too.
as well. So
I am
Probably
a clever
George's
man.
as well, but I'm sure he hasn't seen it.
I've not seen what?
Ethan's video on
yeah, there we go.
Assassin's
what?
Creed.
Oh, Rift. No,
Yeah.
I didn't watch it. I don't care about Rift. I made
No,
a
I
tweet
know.
about it.
Neither do I.
No
I
one
just
does.
watched
You know.
it because it was
No,
Ethan
it's not
talking
a shit.
shit.
Oh, I see.
It's just me ripping Assassin's Creed Rift a new one. I'm
Yeah.
loving it.
Strange concept for a game. Makes me want to shit and piss on the floor.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
He wants to shit and piss.
It does.
Yeah.
And on that note, let's talk about fucking Halo before.
All right, fuck
Let's
it.
go.
Halo
Oh, damn,
Infinite.
finally.
All right. So then,
You're welcome for that long-winded intro.
let's start with. Well, James, let's start with you. Let's just do the quick runarounds of our general thoughts on Halo Infinite before we dive in, because I've literally not said to anyone, I don't think, what my thoughts of it are. I wanted to wait till this podcast to do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just want to leave that there. And we do know how much I hated Halo 5, worst game all time. So
That is true, yeah.
this had to be a lot. But, James, let's start with you.
Can you give us
What
a
are your-
teaser?
Yeah, teaser thoughts.
What did I think of Halo Infinite? I liked it for the most part. I thought it was very, very solid game. Best thing Infinite 3 has done so far. I think in a lot of ways it does stand up against the Bungie trilogy in some ways, not in every way. And there are some things that draw it back. I mean, the biggest drawback for me is like the variation in locations you're visiting, which is there's 3 locations. It's Forerunner, Banished Base, the Woods, and that's it. Those are the only places you go to.
The Woods.
Yeah,
I love the
that is
Woods.
it. And so
I go to the woods daily.
and so like that
Craig.
does hold it back for me and make it just like it's a huge part of Halo that's just not there, and it is kind of upsetting. Obviously, being a live service, 10 years down the line, you're going to look back, it's going to be, you know, fully fleshed out, bunch of different locations, bunch of different campaigns, whatever. But as it stands, like this campaign, it was very lacked variety, and that sucked. But I do think what this game does is it makes up for that lack of variety and set pieces as well, because there's no like big scarab fights or anything like that, but it makes up for it with like a really, really nice and personal, compelling story, and maybe the story that Halo 4 should have been. The way that it tackles the relationship between Chief and Cortana, and the way that it goes about building a new relationship between Chief and the weapon in like just a really good way. I think it shows a lot of restraint in a lot of ways, in being able to tell that narrative between new characters coming together and finding their sort of place together, and I really like that, and I think it characterizes Chief in a way that doesn't need to be so upfront and blatant and in your face. It's very subtle and just sort of like behind his visor, you can tell there's an there are emotions there, but he doesn't outright just display it like he does in Halo 4 and Halo 5.
Yeah, where he goes at the end of Halo 4, he goes, what?
What?
Cortana says that she's going away or whatever the fuck it is.
I'm not coming with you, John.
What?
What?
It's just the fucking way he says it, man.
And then there's the time, the time where he's on the ship at the end with Lasky on the like an observation deck.
He is.
And Lasky's talking about how Chief said something as if soldiers and people are different, you know, or something like that, and that soldiers are just machines or whatever, and in reality they're just people. And then when he walks away, Chief just goes to himself, "She said that to me once," and I thought that's
yeah, it's so funny.
that was just a bit silly because I
said
understand the emotional moment
completely on his
behind it,
own.
but Chief would inner monologue that shit. He would not say it.
Yeah.
It's like an
anime
but it's
moment.
But it's I think Halo Infinite does a really good job of telling that story, and I was very connected to Chief's journey through the game and his connection to the weapon. I thought the Banished were a really good menacing force. I thought there was a lot of the antagonists that were set up quite nicely, the boss battles that you fight, things like that. I think it was quite a well-paced game. It's not too long, and that's brilliant. It does not overstay its welcome, and I think that's fantastic. And overall, I think it was just a game that really did hit a lot of the things I wanted them to hit. It's not the perfect Halo game, and it's not really close to that. I think that once they do more additions to this, which, you know, it's a live service, once they continue to do that, they're going to flesh this out and do some really good stuff with it. But as it stands, Halo Infinite is sort of a really nice opening to this Halo Infinite saga of campaigns. I think that it tells a really nice self-contained story, a personal journey, and it sets up some really interesting things to move into in the future. So I'm overall pretty happy with it. It's not better than any of the Bungie games, I don't think, but it's better than all the 343 ones by quite a bit. And that's probably where I'd place it overall.
Yeah.
Pretty happy with it.
Mad.
Amazing. All right, Ethan, what about you?
With Halo Infinite, for me, obviously I didn't play Halo 5 because I just kept hearing that it was a steaming pile of dog shit and that I shouldn't touch it.
Very good.
So I came into this. I don't think I suffered for not knowing what the fuck happened in Halo 5. I have a rough idea. I just don't care enough, and so I don't think I suffered for that because the game begins and you get.
They sort of pretended it didn't exist anyway.
Yeah,
you know.
It does not matter.
Yeah, you start the game and you're being ragged about by a big gorilla, and I thought to myself, this is the life. I really enjoyed a lot of Halo Infinite again because it was fun. The open world concerns I had, some of them rang a bit true. I want to say not all of them, some of them. Some of it ran. One such example being is the tedium of Halo. Like, is much more obvious now. Like, Halo's always had some objectives where you'd have to go here and do this and then go somewhere else and do the same thing. But because the areas used to be, you know, unique more often than not, it would be okay. It would be doable. Even in previous 343 games, and by that I mean 4, which had it, there were moments where this would happen, but it'd be somewhere fresh, and I go, okay, but it's somewhere fresh that has a different style to anywhere else I've been, and so I guess I can suffer it for a minute. And that was also in some of the Bungie games like Reach and things like that. But when it was presented, that similar objectives were presented in Infinite, where you have to do things in like 3 different locations, whatever. I think I'd sigh and go, I've seen all of this. Why I'm just dashing about the map, And so that did get on my nerves a little bit, and I feel like Halo Infinite does suffer for the fact that it's got this open space with inside which everything has to occur in some capacity besides maybe the opening, and when you go off into a little area that for the most part will look almost the same as somewhere else, and I guess I just sort of it did numb me a bit, I will not lie. However, the storytelling aspect to it, what was there, and what I could follow, I really enjoyed. I liked this introduction of the weapon, which got called Weapon all the way throughout the game, just in subtitles, never referenced in beyond that. Just weapon.
Classic.
And I thought, okay, that's that's mad. But there was a nice dynamic there. I feel like they definitely dialed back on Master Chief, and they went for better timed delivery of lines than I think Halo 4 did. So as I mentioned before, a line from Halo 4 that just seemed a bit out of place. In this, you've got the more silent when there's a bit of emotion going on, and you also get the sarcasm of Chief a bit as well that I quite enjoy, because I feel like sarcasm is never poorly placed in a character like this if done right.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And when Chief is being sarcastic, I'm thinking, oh, that's something I'd expect Chief to say in this moment. And there are several moments where he won't speak at all, even though he's almost being bantered on by weapon, as it were. And I thought that was also quite fitting. And I think the delivery of Chief was a lot better. His armor is a million times better, because it just feels like old Halo armor, rather than that clunky mess that was whatever the fuck he had in Halo 4 and Halo 5.
So weird.
It was
so
like
weird.
It went into that stasis pod at the end of, like, is it Halo 3?
Yeah.
And he came out in Halo 4 with different armor completely.
It's the nanobots, mate. It's the nanobots.
Yeah, exactly. They could have easily made that so much less frustrating if they'd gone, oh yeah, we've gone for a different creative approach. Just not try to explain it in game. Instead, nanobots have changed his armor entirely.
Yeah.
How do you do that without killing the man in the suit in the vacuum of space?
Because it's nanobots, man. It's crazy.
Nanobots active. All I'm saying is, his armor no longer looks ridiculous. It's heftily green, but it's nice and sleek, and I like it. And there were some good emotional moments, as I mentioned as well. I liked the Echo 216 character. He was entertaining. Yeah. There were some moments where I was like, just can you stop whining for a minute, please? I'm trying to kill some banished, and he'd be there like, we need to go, and it's like, what? I'm killing a brute. Give me a sec. But when there were good moments with him, I thought, oh, this is all right. And I think he's probably the only character in Halo canon to give Master Chief a hug, which was
and
it was almost,
he pushes Chief. He gets all angry at him.
He tries to, and doesn't he try to?
True, he doesn't really do anything.
It just sort of hurts. Just sort of hurts him. He goes, ow, It's like, it's made of hefty gear, that kid.
Classic bro hammer.
When I enjoyed Halo Infinite for what it was, but I definitely see significant shortcomings in it, for the sense that I think, like I said, the tedium's been highlighted, because it's all in one sort of area. There's not much environmental variety, and so when you get like a classic Halo objective of doing the same thing in several places, which has worked in the past for it to a degree, it doesn't have that unique feel of being in a different spot, and so so I just sort of felt like I was just doing things in the world for a long time with that. I enjoyed getting into scraps with like bosses and things, because although sometimes it could be a pain in the neck, and there was one boss fight that was these two brute bastards.
Ooh, yeah,
one of them had Locke's helmet on, was it?
Yeah.
One of them had Locke's helmet on his shoulder thing. And I thought, you know what, these guys can die in a fire. But beyond that, I quite enjoyed that. The Escherum fight ragged me about the place. I got absolutely pummeled over and over and over again, and then I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. But when I got that done, I felt satisfied. There was a nice payoff in that moment where you got like a line that I went, that's Chief, and I thought, oh, okay, I quite like that. Maybe worded a bit too much, but I still like it. And then there was another fight, and a bit later on with another boss, and I was just, my head was in my hands, and I was just going, oh, okay, right, I've got to recharge myself so I can do this. And then I was satisfied coming into the experience overall, but I wouldn't say it was anywhere near the level of the old Bungie titles. But it's I can agree. It's probably the best 343's done.
No.
Unless you consider the fucking multiplayer.
Well, the multiplayer of Infinite
fun.
is still better.
It's fun,
than
but the progression
any
is
of the
part
other
of the
ones.
fun.
Yeah.
The progression is part of the fun with
It's definitely
with
still
Halo.
better than 4 and 5, in my opinion, at least.
Functional.
But,
Perhaps,
I'd rather
but I mean
play
the progression
it,
is I liked when progression in multiplayer was just through playing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. The multiplayer is.
Yeah, that goes without saying entirely.
We can get onto that. We could talk about that in a bit. Once we've done a
Yeah, we
bit
don't
of
need to talk about
campaigning.
that right now. Let's focus on the campaign.
Oh yeah, I wasn't going
uh,
to touch down it for too long, but as far as the campaign's concerned, I was
Mhm.
I was happy enough at the end.
Yeah.
Happy enough.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay. And George, what about you, man? Big Halo fan?
It was nice to play a Halo game that actually felt like Halo. I think Infinite actually got the Halo tone pretty well, especially in terms of like the Forerunner structures. They looked really fucking good. Remind me a lot of Halo 3 with like those doorways with the little symbol in the middle. So they took those out of Halo 4 and 5, but they're back in Infinite. Like Zeta Halo in general, I really like. There's a lot of mystery around it, and once they release more expansions, which I don't like saying that because I don't like the whole live service thing they're doing with Halo and its campaign. I think it's really dumb, but once they release more campaigns and we understand more about Zeta Halo, I think there's a really good story there. Just to echo what other people have said, like, yeah, the lack of fucking variety in areas is a huge down. Like, I stopped playing the game for like a week because I was just sick of walking through forests all the time. I just couldn't be fucking bothered with it anymore. Like, it's a great game and it's really fun and the story was good and the characters were good, but the environments were like, they were really cool at first. And don't get me wrong, the open world aspect of like, exploring around a Halo ring was really cool. But it's just the fact that it was just the same fucking copy paste forest and like rock ranges like every 5 seconds. It got really boring.
Yeah.
I did really enjoy getting shit talked by grunts.
The
Like,
grunts
I
were
would-
great. Yeah, the grunts were real.
The grunts would shit talk you. They'd chat drivel, and it was incredible.
Yeah, the grunts
Sometimes
are probably
they'd
the
be
best
telling
they've been.
stories amongst each other, and then you come and kill them.
Yeah, the grunts probably the best they've been since the Bungie games. To be honest, they felt like actual grunts. They were pretty funny. They had good designs.
Didn't the grunts in like Halo 4 not even they spoke like their own language or something?
I don't remember. Probably something bullshit like that. I can't really say because well, I've about to say I haven't played 4 in a while, but I have played it like a couple months ago. But I just did not pay attention to it whatsoever. It was just blitzing through it with the boys. Obviously, lack of co-op is really disappointing.
Yeah, no, I mean
It's a big thing. I wanted to play it co-op as soon as possible. That's a shame.
Yeah.
I'm still sort of confused about Cortana's story. Like, is Cortana dead? The original Cortana?
Yeah, she's dead.
She's dead until she's not. Until 343
that's
does
what I
shit.
don't
Yeah,
one.
that's
I
how
mean,
I feel about
dead
it.
until
No,
not.
she's dead. That's the point of the story.
Yeah,
Yeah,
until
but
they
she's
want to
dead
bring her
Yeah,
until
back.
no,
back.
but then
343
they'll
will
decide
retcon
in
the
like
fuck
5
out.
years.
I actually
that they-
hated
yeah.
Cortana's design as well. It looked fucking stupid. Like I don't know why her face looks really weird and like
Yeah.
the purple. Like, I know she was originally purple, but let's be honest, Cortana was
Didn't she
blue
go
after
through
Halo
so
2.
many designs throughout the years.
Yeah, I mean, it was just to differentiate the two AIs.
It's not like I'm a fucking idiot and don't know the difference between the weapon and Cortana though. Let's be
Yeah, I
honest.
know, but I guess they just think like someone playing this new, they're gonna be like who's who, and they wanted the weapon to be blue, so they were like, we'll make Cortana a classic purple again, I
Yeah.
suppose.
Well, actually, I liked
Yeah, I think that's what
Cortana's
it is.
modern design, but when they did the flashbacks to, like, say when Cortana was first given to Chief, she looks really fucking weird. I'm looking at a picture of it right now, and she just looks so strange. I just,
It's because
Yeah, I
it's
remember
because they 343 are like, we don't like that she was like basically naked, so we've got to make it look like she's wearing something, even though she's not.
It's
And so her
fucking
design
AI,
looks
dude.
fucking weird.
I don't care if she's naked. It doesn't. Well, she's literally is naked. Her feet have toes.
She's not
Yeah,
naked.
but
She doesn't have a body. She's just
It's
like a
weird.
projection.
It's a weird thing that 343 have done. It's like why they gave her the suit of armor in Halo 5. It's because
Yeah.
they were like, oh, we can't. This is too. We've got to be
Make
progressive.
Cortana
you know?
hench.
No
Make
boob.
Cortana hench.
No
Super
booba.
bad.
Halo 4
No,
Cortana
no
still
boobs for
best
you.
Cortana ever. She got
Fuck
big
off.
booba.
If some
Oh my
basement
God.
dweller wants to wank off the digital boobies, allow him.
Look, if I'm
You know
playing
what I
a
mean?
game,
Like-
if I'm playing a fucking campaign of a Halo game, I want to see nice fucking tits, mate. What else is there
it's,
to say about this game? I wasn't a big fan of the boss
mental.
fights. I thought they were a little bit fucking weird and clunky.
Oh, I enjoyed a lot
Some
of
of them
I
were
liked
good.
them. I thought
The
they
two
were good.
I
hunters
do know that
were
some
cool.
of them did get on my nerves a little. I didn't enjoy the bastards who could turn invisible. But then again, I never do. But once you use
What
the
is that?
threat sensor thing,
The Spartan killer?
I thought that
Yeah,
was a great
there was the
boss
two
fight, that last
elites
one.
that you can that turn. There's two of them.
oh, hang on. Oh, you mean
I'm
what's
talking
his-
about
what's
the
his
main bosses, not the option
Yeah,
ones.
me too. Yeah.
I was
No,
gonna-
there were
ones are
two.
just-
There were two main bosses that turned invisible,
Yeah,
Are there?
the one that I
Yeah,
liked the
in
most was the
Spider-Man.
one that sort.
and then
The
there was Jaeger at the end.
Jaeger.
Yeah,
what the fuck is that?
I don't remember.
The elite, the
The
one with the red
red-
energy sword, right? At the end.
Oh, well, why did you call
Oh yeah,
him by
no,
his
that
name?
one was. I liked that
They
one
say it a few
because
times.
I liked that one, and I explain why. You're in an enclosed space.
Yeah.
It's dark. The visibility's low anyway. But and so almost like a bit of a where the fuck is it going to come from sort of situation. I was like, I actually don't know. Whereas in the other one, you just whack down the threat sensor and oh, there he is, lob a fusion coil thing at him, bang.
I mean, speaking
go,
of
done.
the equipment, I actually was a fan of the equipment. I liked it. Maybe not
Yeah.
so much the skill tree linked to them. I feel like that was a bit silly with the Spartan cores and whatnot. I don't know. It's just
I
It's
feel
not
like
Halo to
unnecessary.
me.
It's unnecessary bloat to a system that didn't need it, but it's not enough depth to like warrant it existing either. It's
Yeah.
like this middle ground of just it doesn't need to be there.
I think a little bit of depth that I would have liked to see on the fucking skill tree was, well, you know the grappling hook, right? Why couldn't I upgrade the fucking range on that thing?
I mean, it's
Like,
got some
it-
pretty far
Yeah.
range already.
It doesn't. It fucking doesn't. Like, I'll be firing at something that's not very far away. I'll be like, no. And I'll be like, what?
The range
I
is
just wanna-
higher in multiplayer,
there.
I'm pretty sure, than it is in. Maybe it's the other way around. I know that one is higher than the other.
Yeah.
Well, it let me down on many occasions. In,
I love.
I didn't really have a big
gameplay.
problem with that, but
I mean,
I
it was
can,
one of
I can
those
see
things
it.
that I saw it with the I saw it as almost necessary at times with the traversal in this open world space, and sometimes to get things nice and clean, it was just didn't have quite enough range. It was always only just not enough range. I did like that you could use it to launch yourself. I thought that was useful. You could launch yourself with it, and that I liked. And I liked that you could upgrade the recharge and that you couldn't just use it willy-nilly. I liked that it was, you know, it was a piece of equipment that needed to recharge before you could use it again. But like just a touch more range and loads of situations would have been a little bit smoother for me. But maybe that's just me being shit in game.
The
Yeah,
grappling
maybe.
hook almost like reminded me. There were certain combat situations that felt a lot like Doom Eternal, which I like a lot because the combat in that game's great. Just being able to grapple around to enemies and use the little ground slam ability and stuff. Like there was stuff that they implemented in like Halo 5 that they reworked in this game that I thought was really good this time around.
I both loved and hated fighting hunters. in
Oh,
this
the
game.
hunters were fucking
The
one of the
hunters
most
were so
impressive
hard,
parts of the game. I
and
think.
it was very good.
Yeah.
I loved it because it was, yes, I actually have to use my brain here. I hated it because I don't have a brain. But no, I really enjoyed it because I was like, oh, this could put me on my ass really quick, so I'm gonna be methodical. And the game encouraged you to use the sandbox aspect of the game to face these hunters. You know, you'd have to get around them, you'd have to get behind them, you'd have to get some explosives going on.
And I
Yeah, the
think that's
hunter
the
fights
core
were so
thing,
good.
right, with Halo Infinite is the gameplay itself, the base gameplay and the sandbox is just fantastic. It's
is.
more so the content is so lacking in a lot of areas.
Needs more
that
weapons
it
as
makes
well.
it makes you feel like the game is missing something, and
Yeah.
that's a shame. And the stuff there is good. Like, don't get me wrong, I did really like Halo Infinite, and I still really do. And like when I played it through a second time, I loved it. I liked it more like when I played it through a second time.
Yeah.
I just focused completely only on story and just played through it. I was like, it's actually paced really well if you do like no side stuff at all.
Yeah, yeah.
And I
will
thought that was
say-
really cool.
I will say that I like how the open world in a way does lend itself more to the sandbox thing because you know, while you're in this open space, you've got all these possibilities. You can go to a fob base and get all like several marines in a
Razorback.
warthog thing.
A Razorback.
A Razorback,
yeah.
that's right, in a Razorback with sniper rifles, and you just ride into battle
God,
and they're
it's
fucking
mental.
up everything.
Oh,
Or
It's so
like
good.
arcane
It's so much fun.
sentinel beams, and they just absolutely melt through
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
It's
really-
incredible. It's I just love that sandbox aspect.
Yeah, it's very Halo.
It gives me will to live. That I liked. I didn't like how the open world sort of limited other possibilities for the storytelling. Don't get me wrong. It was balanced okay in the sense that it had positives and negatives. Didn't get in the way of the storytelling in the sense that you didn't have to do it for progression. but I think it restricted the storytelling still because everything had to be enclosed within this one specific part of the Halo ring.
Yeah, and I think that's where you could change it so that main missions take you with other places on the ring. Like, that's the easy fix to me, is every time you do a main mission, you know, if you want to have this open world, you can do that, and like there is like an argument for it, and I think the sandbox is really enjoyable there. And you could have some stuff happen, you know, within this open space you've got, but then you go to a mission marker, you go to a Pelican, it takes you to a mission, you know, somewhere else on the ring, and that is like, you know, a thing that you could do. And if you did that and you had that balance, I think the game there'd be a lot more sort of substance there in terms of your environments.
I suppose if there's any future campaigns for this game, would you imagine they'd take place in their own sort of areas?
I imagine they'll do like for every new update, there'll be like a new region or something, like for every campaign. That's what I would imagine they're gonna do.
But the question lies in, will these regions actually be unique?
I imagine there'll be like new
biomes.
biomes. Like, I imagine next one will be like a whole desert region. One after that, a whole snowy mountain region.
I guess I'd like that. I mean, it's not something that I'm going to sit and go, oh, you know what, I want a fucking desert in an update. I'd rather they make a game, go, here's the game, enjoy. You know?
Yeah.
And then you have all these regions, and you know, you have maybe not a stupidly long story, but a story that doesn't outstay its welcome in one area, which is what I feel like Halo Infinite almost did. It didn't in the sense that I enjoyed the story, you know, so I wasn't thinking it was outstaying its welcome in this region. But if I think about it, if there were other regions available, it would have been nicer and a nice breakdown of the pacing if I were to go to somewhere else and I'd be seeing new things as I was going through it. And unfortunately, that's just not the structuring or the business model they're going for. So I did feel like the open world aspect had great sandbox elements to it. Could it be adapted and improved upon? Absolutely. But on the other hand, I also think it kind of gimped the almost the unique design that took a minute. The unique design philosophies and almost of, you know, keeping everything fresh, which would have been much nicer.
Yeah, I mean, like, let's be real. If I'm gonna make my ideal Halo game, I'm gonna remove the open world. Like, you know, if I can have it my way, we just have linear missions, because that's
I don't
Halo,
mind.
You know?
I don't mind. You know, if we think like combat evolved, or you know, if we think that, I don't mind like smaller, enclosed sort of spaces where you can play with the sandbox as you go through the missions, and that's just for that mission. Then you shift.
Yeah,
I think they should, after they've done the life cycle in Infinite, they can bring back the open world aspect, but just don't do it in Chief games, because I don't know.
Yeah, do cycle. Like, Halo is such an expansive universe.
It
and,
is.
like, IP that, like, why can't you do more experimental side projects? Like, the Halo Wars games were received really well, and they're great, and those are, you know, your side RTSs. Do a side game that focuses on this Halo Infinite style of open world space. With a different character, a different story. That's cool.
A story
that's the Chief games, those linear mission focused games, because it's so strong for a Chief game. It's supposed to be this like action-packed cinematic adventure across space and Halo rings and all this shit.
Like a story of like a story of Locke on a journey to find his missing helmet. That'd be quite funny.
Oh, I hope he's dead.
Oh, me too. I haven't even played Guardians, and I want him to be dead.
Yeah.
Big time dead. You know, like I hope he's been splat. I hope his head is pasted.
Oh no, I don't hope Locke is. Are we talking about Locke?
Shut the fuck up, Drew.
Look, dude was just the concept of his character.
Okay.
Cool.
Can we at least agree that Palmer needs to be dead?
Who's Palmer again?
She's the really tall.
Exactly.
She's
not the
nice.
One, the small one, the one with the white armor.
She walked up to Master Chief and went, "I thought you'd be taller."
She's
He's
dead.
7'2".
Is she dead?
Did she not die?
I don't think so.
I don't know. I don't think so.
What, in 5?
They didn't
I don't
say.
think Palmer's dead.
No, I mean, did she not die when they attacked? Was she not in like the Spartan 4 facility? Because she's the head of the Spartan 4, like.
But they would have said that. I feel like they would have mentioned it.
That's actually true. That's probably true.
I feel like they would have mentioned it. It wouldn't be like, oh, you'd assume based on blah. But George,
survived that.
George, did you have any more thoughts in your summary that is
It's like the messiest fucking
yeah.
I'm like, I
collection
still
of
want to jump in,
thoughts.
but I'm like, I don't really want to say my thoughts yet.
Uh,
And then I'm like, I don't know when to...
I want to hear what Tyler has to say.
Tyler's going to
trying
come
to
out and say it's a
think
bag of
of,
dicks, and
like-
we're all going to be like, oh, I see your point in 6
I'm
months.
trying to think of like a final sort of verdict. It's pretty good. I liked it a lot at the time when I was playing it. I remember there were loads of moments where I was like, oh, that was great. I really liked that. And like it was just like important moments that felt like Halo, like getting the weapon for the first time, or like right at the end where he doesn't call her Cortana, does he? But it's almost
No,
like
no.
insinuated that like
It's
she
almost
wants her
like
It's
name
like she's
to
like
be
earned
Cortana.
it. It's like yeah, she is Cortana. 'Cause-
So there you
'cause,
go.
well, I mean, that's the
Cortana
thing.
was
like,
dead until
that's the
she
thing
isn't.
that I said is like I like that the weapon. They let you become close to her. They form a relationship between Chief and the weapon, and then they tell you, you know, at this climactic point, that she actually is a complete copy of Cortana.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, they didn't just like drop her in and go, look, she's a copy of Cortana, get used to it. They like got you to like her, and you get to feel that relationship, and like you feel that connection there. And then they drop it on you, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, everything sort of comes together, and it felt earned to me. And I think there's a lot of people that are probably going to hate that because they're like, no, you can't replace Cortana no matter what you do. But
she is
I
Cortana.
thought it worked, and she is Cortana.
It's not
yeah,
really
and
a replacement. It's just
and I
that
thought it
memory.
worked. I thought the whole thing was just worked. It was earned.
The
and
weapon was my favourite
it
part of
satisfied me.
Infinite, for sure.
She was brilliant.
In terms of
She
the
was
story,
good.
I thought
Yeah.
she was bloody
Good.
great. And I liked the bit where, like, Chief is, like, afraid of her turning like Cortana did, so he, like, tries to delete her. And then she realizes what he's doing, and then she's all pissed off with him for a while until she finds out what Cortana did. And then she's all like, oh shit, why didn't you just fucking do it straight away?
And then she goes to delete, like, she's like, oh, I'm ready to go. And then she's like, no, we do it together. Oh, it's so good. It's so
Yeah.
good.
You were
Where's
saying
that
fucking
one,
half an hour ago, I can't even talk about Halo Infinite. It was alright.
Oh,
It was
I know.
fine.
It-
It
I
was a
guess I
fucking
don't
good game.
know.
It was a good
I love.
To be
I
fair,
do
off the
love
back of a
Halo
half an hour
Infinite a lot.
conversation about God and
Yeah, look, I
like
wasn't in the
cutting.
mindset, alright? I
Exactly,
wasn't
you
in
gotta
that
ease into
headspace
it.
for talking about Halo.
We have
but
gone on a fucking adventure.
You've got to
Infinite
remember
is-
those
is
good
very
moments.
good, yeah.
It's very good.
It's-
It's a
yeah, it's really
I'm
good.
happy 343 has made a good Master Chief story, and they've finally managed to do something that I was able to enjoy quite thoroughly, and I'm looking forward to what they do in the future. That's my verdict on it. There we go.
Yeah, sweet.
There we go.
What
All right,
about your
Tyler.
verdict, James?
Where are you at with it?
Big tie.
I'm scared.
Big Tay Tay.
Yeah, look, like obviously Halo 5 I despise so much, and I think it ruined Halo.
Yeah.
Like Halo Infinite was good, like it was good. I agree. I liked a lot of things about it, but I just felt like with everything from the story, from the characters, from the world, music, moments, set piece, for every detail, it was like it's almost what I want it to be, but not quite. So, like, as much as I agree that, yes, I thought the story was solid. I thought Chief was so much better as a character, and the relationship they built with Weapon was fantastic. The backstory for, you know, finding out what happened to Cortana. Then you have a lot of, and it gives you a lot of questions right off the bat that you're interested in getting answers to already, more than anything that would have happened in 5. And them telling the 5 backstory and hearing what probably is the thrown out Halo 6 script in these like audio logs, and you're like, man, that game would have been worse than 5.
What do you mean, like the UNSC audio logs that you find? At each
Yeah, all
spot?
those audio. Yeah.
Like all the
Yeah.
Spartan 4s dying.
It was
Yeah.
just like, oh, there's the thrown out script. Jesus,
We've caught the
fucking
tail end
Christ.
of that in
and
Infinite, and it's like, okay.
and yeah, like I liked all of that, and it brought back classic music, and it brought back a very familiar art style, and it flowed really well. But again, it was just she was almost exactly how I wanted him, but just not. She just felt quite there, and I think it may be just too little, too late for me. Is the reason that is like,
Yeah.
I'm like they'd hit the old school music, and it would be like, and that almost feels like Halo, but I still sort of feel like I'm watching someone else with like Halo painted on it, if that makes sense. Like it's just
reading
this,
the Bible while you're
there's just-
talking.
there's just something off. You know,
Yeah.
it's close to being a really good Halo game, but I don't think it's a really great Halo game. I think it's a good Halo game. Certainly the better than 5 and 4. Like I agree with you, James, in every way that it's not good, better than any of the Bungie games, but it is better and the best 343 game by a lot. So I certainly agree with that, and it did leave certain questions and things about the Forerunners and what happened to them in the legendary ending, and following up with just the ending in general that I really like. And watching some videos again and about some theories and stuff, I'm like, that's really exciting. There's some good story to be told. So I think I will stick with it a bit, but at the same time, the way I look at it now is, and the way I felt about it just being off by a little bit, that if I didn't play Halo Infinite, I wouldn't have felt like I missed anything, if that makes sense. So if anyone's out there like, I'm not sure if I'm going to play it or not, I don't really care right now, you haven't missed anything. And that's how I feel about it, unfortunately. And I think it did the best that it could following on from Halo 5. I really do think that's probably
It didn't feel like it followed on from Halo 5
it's probably the best game it could have been. And I think James hit the nail on the head when he said it felt like it should have been Halo 4. A lot of the story, like the way it even flowed and started, and where you go from, it's just like, yeah, this feels like how it always should have gone. But again, maybe too little, too late. But this was a big game. Just to me playing it, maybe it was partly because this is the first new game I've finished since Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Like, I've not played a game since that game because that was so fucking shit. I was like, just done playing. And I haven't played anything since. So Halo Infinite, I finished it 1st or 2nd of January. So I technically didn't finish any game last year, but I finished Halo, and I played it already 5 games this year. So I've been playing a lot more games.
That's a great start.
It's a great start compared to 2021. I finished Final Fantasy 7. I played A Plague Tale, Melody of Memory, Spider-Man as well. I played Miles Morales.
Oh, banger.
I hadn't played that. And then I played, and then obviously I finished Halo Infinite. So, it did enough that it got me playing some games again, which is nice. It didn't push me away from it. It didn't make me jump back in and go, you know what, fuck this. I just can't do it every time I play one of these old franchises I used to love. It's shit. But no, this was good. This was solid. It gave those feels. It flowed. The way it played was nice. I think one highlight was those sort of boss battles. I actually found it really difficult.
Do you like them?
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
That's
actually.
Some of them were pretty good.
Certain ones, not all of them, but certain ones.
Like
but
I said,
really
I did not enjoy
especially
getting
liked.
ragged about by Escharum.
I really liked the end bosses. I thought it played well. It actually made me intimidated playing a Halo, and there were certain moments in it that it definitely got me really excited.
I mean, he's a big fucking gorilla. I don't know how much more intimidated you need to be, but I liked the storytelling behind it more than the fight itself. For
sure. And I like that you knew the whole time Atriox has been this built-up villain, and he was in, Halo Wars 2, and then he's just been said, he died at the start of the game in a cutscene.
Like, no, he didn't. No, he fucking didn't.
No, he didn't. So you're sort of in the back end waiting for the moment Atriox comes back, and he comes back, and it looks like there's theories that he's gone back in time.
He's not gone back in time. That's a load of shit. Yeah. People keep saying that, and it's just, it's because they made it so confusing with that legendary ending. Like, they pop up in the corner a time period, and then they show Atriox. But
that's the time period of when the audio log is.
And it's it's the time period of when the audio is. And Atriox is obviously in the modern day, because you see, what's her name sent the thing through the slip space stream, and then also
I haven't even seen the legendary ending. I never played it on legendary.
Well, there's not. Have you seen the post-credit scene?
I don't remember, to be honest.
Because it's where
just Atriox walking up to
it's where Atriox walks up to the thing. So the
that's
Harbinger sent him a little thing that activates the Silex chamber for the Endless. So he opens that up, and you've got all the Silexes in there for the Endless that were trapped away by the Forerunners.
Who were the Endless
they were so
again? That
scared
was
of them. So the
scary
Harbinger
than the Flood.
The Harbinger is an Endless. And she was trying to bring them all back. And so that's apparently what, like Cortana said, there's something worse than the Flood on this ring. We think she's referring to the Endless.
Well, the theory is that the Endless, and correct me if I'm wrong, James, but the Endless are a group that are resistant to the halo ring when it's fired.
Yeah.
So therefore,
Yeah,
if
yeah,
the
yeah.
flood were to infect them, the flood could then survive a halo ring fire. So that's why they're
Yeah,
the most
yeah.
dangerous.
Isn't there also theories that there is a section of Zeta Halo where there's flood locked away and that they're like trapped there?
Yeah.
I
Yes.
would
Yeah,
like
well,
as much as that's a
flood on
bullshit
There was
reason.
flood on every Halo.
Yeah, but oh yeah, there was. That's true. That is true. As much as that's almost like a bullshit reason, like oh the flood on Zeta never escaped. It's like I'd love
Well,
to see
they
that flood
kept
again.
one of the
Absolutely
one
gonna
of
be an
the,
arc, isn't it?
There was one of the proto grave mines was kept on Zeta Halo. It's where they kept the primordial when it was taken from one of the planets in the Forerunner period.
Is the
which
primordial?
was really good. So the primordial
That's another big
was one of the precursors. They called it the timeless one. And like it would like send people insane and stuff. So like the precursors existed before the Forerunners and like sort of built a load of stuff in the universe.
Okay.
And they were like the catalyst for the flood. They basically were the flood. They like created this thing to like test the Forerunners against like the mantle or whatever that they set up.
Yeah.
But
But
so
then
so
wasn't
much
also
Halo lore.
that time period of when that flashback audio is happening. These Forerunners talking about the endless. That's also after the Halo ring's been fired. So this conversation's happening after that first ring fire that wiped everything out and reset it all. I think it's like 100 or
I
200
believe
years
so.
after.
Yeah, I think it's just after the Halo ring fired.
So the endless, there's those few still surviving Forerunner, but also the endless
yeah,
obviously survives. That must be how they know.
yeah. So they
Because it
fired
would have
the
wiped out
rings,
everything on. Yeah. I think it
and
makes
the
sense
endless is
because
still
like
there.
the endless would have been on a planet, I'm sure, with other living things, and all of them are wiped out. Because you hear them saying, "Oh, they think we're here to help them." That's sort of like the line.
And that's when they just lock them away because they're like, oh shit, they can survive the Halo rings firing. That's not good.
But what would Aatrox want with the endless? Is
Yeah,
my
I don't
question.
know.
Like the big threat to them is the fact they can survive Halo ring fire, and therefore could also cause the flood to permanently exist. So the question then becomes, what Aatrox would want that. So what does he want with them?
Yeah,
I
It's
have
probably
no idea.
some
Tricked and
skewed
manipulated.
idea. Yeah, it's always like the Covenant were like sort of tricked into wanting to fire the Halo rings and stuff. I'm sure Aatrox is probably not understanding the situation fully.
Yeah, potentially. Like, I mean, I think the main reason... I mean, this is complete speculation, but I think the main reason the Banished wanted control of Zeta Halo was because it's the only Halo ring that's left from the Forerunner period, and it can be fired in a single direction, so it doesn't just fire, like, everywhere. You can use it as, like, a weapon if you want to, because it's one of the first
Death
original
Star.
Halo rings. Yeah, basically, you can use it as, like, a Death Star. So I think that's what the Banished wanted it for.
They wanted to like
was,
take it
like,
to Earth and just smash
to be
about
able
with
to
it.
use it as a weapon to like dominate the universe without killing themselves.
Yeah.
Which makes a lot of sense. But I have no idea why he would want access to the Endless and why he was working with the Harbinger unless she like told him something that was like a lie to like get him to work with her.
But it would
I
be so
guess we'll
dumb
find out
after
more.
their whole purpose is to be like they're against what the Covenant was because of the lies and being manipulated by the Prophet. So it's like you're just doing the same shit again. If that was
Yeah.
the case.
Isn't
It
that
would
almost
feel
poetic?
Like maybe it's poetic, but I just feel like it's like okay. So they didn't like
It's religious symbolism.
Dumb.
I think
Yeah,
they'll.
true.
I
They
jump
go from
from
one
one
thing
ship
to
to
another.
another
You know
one.
what I mean?
Zack
Yeah.
Snyder wrote this fucking game.
Oh, he is so good at religious symbolism. Guys, do you know Superman's like Jesus?
Do you know
Did you know
Chief
that?
is
That's
like
why
Jesus?
we made him float like and he does a cross. It's
And
really
did you know
deep.
Batman and Joker are also like Jesus as well?
Wonder Woman, she's like Jesus. That's
me
why
find-
she does the cross with her wrists.
Oh, fuck you, hell.
I'm
Jesus.
so
Let me
close to
find.
finishing this
Let me
water,
find a
this fucking-
very
Jesus
Jesus
Christ.
subtitle.
This has been difficult.
Oh, get it down your neck, son. Go on.
I need to find a very Jesus
Chug it.
subtitle to explain Zack Snyder's Jesus analogies.
What you do is,
If I
when it's
disappear,
3
it's 'cause I
a.m.,
need to pee.
you get in, you just make pancakes, man.
It's gonna take me a minute.
That's a classic.
Oh, I would love some pancakes. I haven't eaten anything good in weeks.
Oh god.
I would love some pancakes. That's what you gotta do, bro.
No,
It's what you gotta
I found one
do.
page on here that said Jesus. at
Well,
first.
I
Starve
want to
yourself.
compete, so if I want to do that, that's what I have to
that's
do.
true. You're on a
I
different level.
guess.
to
I
me.
can't imagine wanting something that badly that you're willing to like just to put yourself through that. I just can't imagine.
Yeah, yeah. I'm a fucking psycho. We all
Yeah, you are a psycho.
First
I'm
things
definitely not
first.
that psycho.
Fact of the matter is, I'm a fucking psycho.
So if I disappear, it's on my internet this time. It's just I need a piss.
It needs a big wee.
Yeah.
Just you collapse.
And
You pass
so has your
out.
internet been sorted then, or are you disappearing twice?
No, I did disappear once already.
Oh, really?
Well, I'm sure.
Oh,
I've
that's why you go quiet.
And I may need to disappear again.
That's alright,
Because of your internet, or because
That
of
sounded
Yes.
fucking ominous.
And I may need to
I just
disappear
mean, I just
again.
mean right now I really need a piss, so I'm probably gonna get up in a second. That's what
Okay.
I'm saying.
Go for the
Yeah.
go for the piss, and I will entertain these boys with a little bit of Jesus. And then
Oh,
we'll-
Jesus
no,
fucking
please,
Christ.
not
I
anymore.
mean,
He's
keep
not
talking
gonna
about,
kill
keep talking
myself.
about Halo.
Tyler,
Anymore.
don't leave. Don't leave.
I'll hold the piss.
It's
Oh,
all right,
God, so
guys.
much
I just
water,
have a
might
bit of-
die.
I've come up with my church's motto, and I wanted to share it with you.
Go on,
Oh,
fuck me.
Okay.
Ethan's starting a
Imagine-
cult. Ethan is starting a cult.
So here's
Impressions podcast.
the thing that makes me like I think about like Christian Americans and the crazy shit that they get up to, and so the motto that I've come up with is God will protect us. Shoot the hurricane.
The fuck does that even mean?
Why does
Have you
your
not seen
brain
the
work
articles
like
of
this?
people shooting hurricanes in like
People
Florida?
don't do that, do they? What?
Google it. They do. They've been
Let me
they,
Google this
they had to
shit.
post
Great
warnings.
recommended,
The last
hang on.
hurricane.
Americans shooting
People
hurricanes.
shoot. They can't be actually doing that.
You have too much.
Gun
faith
owners in
America,
Florida
man.
have vowed to respond to Hurricane Irma by shooting at the storm. Tens of thousands of people have joined an event advertised on Facebook to tackle the hurricane currently bearing down on Florida in an attempt to show Irma that we shoot first. Fucking
I love that
America! I hate it so much.
I love that my jokes are so clever that you have to Google it to get it.
Oh
Oh my
my
God.
god. So that was in 2017 they were doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, they've been active for a while, then, boys.
The Twitter account for Pasco Sheriff says, to clarify, do not shoot weapons at Irma. You won't make it turn around and it will have very dangerous side effects.
Yes, like bullets flying all around.
Oh
Out of a
my
hurricane.
God.
It'll probably pass through the bridge, to be fair, but
Really?
it'll hit
What?
someone.
Really? You think the bullets have enough air resistance?
Oh
to
no,
shoot
they'd
through a
be
hurricane?
twanged off. They'd be twanged off, but they wouldn't be dragged around in it.
I don't know how physics works. To be fair, I'm not a scientist. That's so fucking
Depends
dumb. That
depends on how
pisses
far
me
away
off.
the hurricane is. If the bullet has lost velocity, it could be.
Well,
if
in
you're
that case,
standing
George,
right
if you're
up
not a
against it-
scientist, how do you know shooting a hurricane won't work?
Because
well, here's the
it
thing.
won't. I don't know.
I have a You want to know something about hurricanes hitting America?
Yeah.
Think about how many people have died because of
Couple.
that. And I'm sure in a few of these scenarios, the Americans have shot at those hurricanes, and yet people still die.
Ricocheting
So
bullets off it and it shoots into your family.
You're
Oh,
gunning
that
it
would
down.
be-
Shoot a tank missile at it.
Yeah, that'd be good.
that's
a good idea.
that's the loophole to the New Testament.
You know what?
Nuke
you've
it.
done
The
it.
US
Nuke the
Navy should
hurricane.
actually get their rail guns and shoot them into the hurricane. That'd be a good idea.
Oh no! don't
Fly a plane into the hurricane.
Yeah.
That'll shut up.
That
I just
also
love
works.
that Americans shoot hurricanes, and that's a thing that people do.
It looks like
let's go.
I don't know if they've done it since, so I'm glad about that. I'm glad that it's been 5 years since they've thought that it was a good idea to shoot a
Mate,
hurricane.
it's America. They're probably shooting at anything that looks like a hurricane.
Well,
So,
it was
the land of the
2017.
motherfucking free, the land of the free.
They'll get like a gust of wind from the east, and they'll go, "Fucking hell, it's another one, boys."
We have
And
the
they'll start
right
shooting.
to bear
They'll be like,
arms against our enemies. This hurricane is a threat to the greatest nation on planet Earth.
It's a threat
Everybody
to freedom.
get
and
your guns, get out there, and shoot that fucking bastard out the sky. That's basically
And then you've got the
American
president
Classic.
going, "Why are you attacking it? It doesn't even have any oil."
Exactly, what are you doing? It's not got any juicy oil flowing out of it like a river.
Delectable. Right. Anyway, back to
Back to
Halo.
Halo. Were we
Unless
not
you want to
gonna-
hear another
We're
psalm.
not going to talk. No. We're not gonna talk about the
No.
multiplayer, like briefly, like because we've already.
I think we
gone
should
through
wait
it.
for Tyler to get
I mean,
back for that.
I mean, we could talk a little bit more just about, I guess, where they plan to go in the future
Yeah,
with this
yeah,
campaign.
yeah.
Then we could jump into the multiplayer, I
Um,
suppose, just to keep it structured, I guess.
I reckon the
Yeah.
next game is going to have Sergeant Johnson back from the dead, and he goes,
He just rocks
"Yeah,
up,
I know
just
what the
rocks up
ladies
alive.
like."
Yeah,
Do you
I
guys
reckon
think there'll
so.
be like an Arbiter campaign? Do you think that's pretty much
I would
guaranteed?
love it.
would
I'd love it so
fucking
much.
Come my
I
pants.
would kill
That'd
for
be
that.
so good.
I would break one of the tenets of life.
Oh
I would
my
love
God.
an
I think-
Arbiter
I think
campaign.
they'll-
for that.
I think they'll do a few campaigns with other characters as well.
Do a lock campaign.
A lot campaign.
So you
So
reckon
you
some of
think
these
they would
campaigns
dare?
won't be? So you reckon some of these campaigns won't be about Chief?
I think
Yeah, I
so.
do. I really
think
do,
so. I
yeah.
think this is
I-
their platform to tell stories.
On
Halo
they
some
want to
level,
tell.
yeah.
on some level, I hope so, because you don't want too much of Chief in the sense that you do not want
Don't want to
Not-
spam
not-
it out.
not in the sense of like Halo 5 where you're not playing as Chief for the entirety of a Chief game, but in the sense that you've got the Chief campaign there, but you know, you don't necessarily need to see everything that he does on that Halo
I
run.
would love an Arbiter campaign. Also, to be
that'd be
fair,
so
did you
nice.
see that in the files of Halo Infinite, somebody found a file that was Covenant Player underscore or something like that? It was like insinuating that elites will be playable at some point in Halo Infinite, which could mean that we may be able to get to play as our boy Arbiter at some point.
But-
Although I just hope they don't give him a grappling hook.
Imagine the Arbiter with the grappling.
The Arbiter with
hook.
the
He's got
just
to have
Keith David
just
getting active with a grapple.
Yeah,
hook.
I'll just
no.
give them something
Standard,
else that,
like,
that creates the
what's it
same sort
called?
of thing.
You give
They'll
him
just make him
dash,
teleport.
I
Build
guess.
just build a campaign around not having a grappling hook for the Arbiter, and then you're good.
Yeah, give
You
him
know?
active camo
I-
like he had in Halo 2.
Please don't carry over gimmicks for the sake of
Yeah.
it. Then it would become a gimmick.
Don't give
then it would
Arbiter
become
fucking
that.
drop shield. I just think that would look stupid.
He needs special Covenant equipment,
Yeah,
yeah,
he
or
does.
not Covenant, Sangheli equipment
Sangheli,
if you're
yeah.
gonna do it.
Let him become an invisible boy.
Yeah, I think that's
Or
all
something.
you
Yeah,
need, to
give
be
us
honest.
the active camo. and
Active
I'm good.
camouflage.
Oh, could you
Um,
imagine how
You could have
cool
like
Give
a
him some-
shield, like one of those shield drainers that like you throw it out and it drains the enemy shield.
Oh, what, like from
Give
Halo
him a
3?
tasty mandible.
Yeah, from
and
Halo
we're all
3.
good.
Give him
I
a
love those
flare,
things.
maybe.
Those fucking
Um,
flares are
what-
never useful. in
Give him
Halo
a
3,
grav
were
lift.
they?
Give him one of those. So instead of a drop wall, give him one of those shields from Halo 3 that you throw
Ah, I
out
like
and it
those
pops up
little
a Covenant
things.
shield.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
do one of those. That'd be cool. I'd like
I've
that.
got-
And then add in the plasma rifle, and we're good.
I'm a Covenant carbine.
And the Covenant carbine, yeah.
And
throw
the
that
brute
in.
shot, please.
Oh yeah.
And the fuel rod cannon, and all the other guns you
Mm.
fucking removed for no reason.
Give him a 2005 Toyota Yaris. That'll do.
Is that
him.
from
Yeah,
the
do
Halo
more, why
TV
not?
show trailer?
Oh, have you the AK-47 in that random
Yeah,
shot?
there's an AK-47 and
Mustang.
there's a fucking like modern day like car, like
There's a
from
Mustang,
now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 500 years old. We don't talk about that trailer. At least not until after we've
Oh,
spoken
that
about
trailer
this
was
game.
bad. Yeah. Jesus
No.
Christ.
Finish the
I
fight.
do have the question of like, where do you go? Because Halo 4, 5, and Infinite have, for all intents and purposes, really been about the Chief, his relationship with Cortana. The loss, the torment of 5, I guess, that's what they're trying to do, with that relationship splitting apart. And then the rebuild here, and now it feels like you've done that and you've got Chief Cortana back, and it's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what story are you going to tell moving forward with him? Like, obviously, there'll be more campaigns with him, more specifically surrounding taking on Atriox and obviously just defeating all evil, because that's sort of what he fucking does. And he always says, we're here till we win, until Earth's safe and humanity's safe,
Yeah.
whatever the cost. So we know he's going to keep showing up and doing that, but when does that get boring? What stories do we tell with him personally? Because there are a few little things I really enjoyed, and one moment I specifically liked and remembered was for the first time when you were seeing those sort of echoes of memories, and it was like a young Chief as a boy, and I'm like, that's the first time in a Halo campaign you've seen that,
Yeah,
and
that's
heard
true.
that, and really have that in your face, where you realise that he was just a boy at one point.
Yeah, before he was taken.
And I'd love to see that more explored, who he is as a human being,
Yeah.
and sort of coming back from what happened to him as a Spartan, and for him to change into a real human. I think that's the only story you can tell at this point before you end Chief, because Chief can't go on forever, unfortunately. But,
True, Chief can't go on forever.
but
But
there's
they will
still,
milk him
I
for as
think,
long as they
stories to
can.
be- and they should, and that's what I want them to do. I just think there is a story to be told though,
Yeah.
before that happens, and I think it's
So
more
what-
about him leaving that, not never fully, but breaking that sort of Spartan brain and being a human.
So, what would your wants be for a final Chief story then?
It would be that mostly.
It would be that, like an exploration of the
everything
human character.
Yeah, and then
Would he
fucking-
would he have to keep the helmet on even if he is
I
no
guess
longer
you
a
take
Spartan.
it off finally, right? If you're really ending it.
I mean, so I suppose
You take
so,
it
but
off, and
that's
it's just this
controversial.
60-year-old,
Oh, it
average-looking
needs-
white guy, and you're like,
I think it
well,
needs to be a smaller
I guess,
helmet.
you know?
America.
And then I go and watch Forward Unto Dawn by Machinima, and it's the greatest thing ever made. Where else can the Halo story go right now? I mean, I guess it's uncovering the secrets of Zeta, doing shit with the Endless, probably some more Flood stuff
the Endless
going on.
is the next big threat. You tackle that. You tackle the Banished, and incorporate the UNSC back into it as well. Because Halo Infinite was very isolating. I would like to,
it was definitely.
bring back Lasky, bring back the UNSC. You know, where's Hood?
Where's Halsey?
Where's
Halsey
Halsey?
doing?
Where's Blue Team? Like, bring in some recognizable characters from the Halo canon, and have it feel like a team again. Because that's one of the things I loved about, like, I mean, Halo 1 was very isolating in a way. It was Chief and Cortana for a lot of it. But you know,
There
you
was
look
Captain
at Halo
Keyes as
2.
well.
Yeah, you obviously Captain Keyes. And Johnson showed up a couple times. But
Yeah.
you got like Halo 2 is where it's like you're fully with the army now, like so you're tackling this like with the military and like with all of your allies, and it's no longer just being stranded on a Halo ring because you crashed. It's like, you know, you're actually, you know, tackling this properly.
It's a different pacing.
And the same with
Neither is
Halo
necessarily
3.
The way.
Although you didn't have
both
Cortana
Halo
for most
2
of
and
3.
3, like, yeah, exactly, that's a thing. But like there was a lot of
Yeah, those
politics
weird
there,
flashes.
and like you've got like the alliance between the Sanghelian and the UNSC in Halo 3, and I thought that was really cool. And so I think I want the next campaign to be less isolating. I want to be reunited with some sort of sense of familiarity with like Chief's sort of like home base.
They
and
could
all
even
that
have
stuff.
June show up from Reach. He's still alive.
If he didn't
He
die
is
on
still
that base,
alive.
they-
Oh, what, did he die?
no,
We don't
it's
know.
not confirmed, but it's June, so it probably didn't.
I
let's
want
hope
to
If
see
he
who
his most
survived.
notable thing is he survived Reach.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think he could survive a space station getting like whatever.
Oh, so
happened to it,
June
'cause
was
he
on the Infinity when it crashed.
No, you know that training station.
The-
one of the,
the
logs where
Spartans
Spartan
Fort
falls.
facility.
Because June
He killed like
um,
90 something Spartans or whatever.
June went to-
Leonidas, is that what it was
went-
called?
He went on to train the Spartan Force after.
Yeah,
You
he
know,
was
at some point
instrumental in
after.
training the Spartan Fours. Yeah.
I love June.
I don't think he was an active Spartan at that point, but he was training the Spartan Force.
It was that woman from the Spartan Academy,
Spartan Academy.
whatever her name is, the black woman from the cinematic trailer. Was she not?
Oh,
was
that
she
one.
not head of training the Spartans?
The next generation, yeah.
Yeah.
Not the Spartan Fours, though.
Oh, I see.
Or she might have been a Spartan 4, because I think the Spartan 4s are the only ones that exist now. I don't think they've done a Spartan 5, because I don't think they need to.
No.
No, there'd be no point. They've got.
Yeah. They've
They've got-
perfected it at this point.
They've got,
Like,
like-
anyone who's just a normal adult can become a Spartan 4 now.
A handful of Spartan 2s left.
Yeah, there's really not many Spartan 2s left. There's really
It's like
not.
Blue Team and then just like probably
Blue Team,
random ones that are
That's
scattered
it.
around.
Like, I think that's it, honestly. I think Blue Team are the last ones left.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any more. Oh, there's the Spartans on the Spirit of Fire from Halo Wars. They're Spartan 2s.
I've not played Halo Wars.
They're still knocking about. I'd love to see those guys like meet Chief. I think that'd be a cool story to tell,
That would
because
be
like
cool.
Halo Wars 2 sort of led them into, like, you know, where are those guys now? Like, they woke up because Halo Wars 1 is set before Halo CE, and then Halo Wars 2 is set after Halo 5.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know,
Huge
what are
time
those
gap.
guys doing now?
Yeah.
I wanna see
This
them
may be a
show.
I've
hot
noticed
take,
something,
but
right?
I would like to see Fireteam Osiris show up at some point. Like,
No,
I think
there's-
it'll be cool.
What, Locke looking for his helmet?
The
just
only
like
reason I
back then.
dislike
Where the
them,
fuck is my
the
helmet?
only reason I dislike them is because they were in Halo 5 and were written badly. I don't think the actual clean slate of their characters were that bad. Like Locke especially is.
They
very
didn't exist
cool.
before, bro. So what they were if they were written bad in
No,
Halo
but
5,
surely
they're bad.
that you
They're
can
bad,
distinguish
and they're bad.
character
I think
concept
Locke-
to actual execution though, and they were done
Wasn't
badly
Locke in a-
5, very badly.
Wasn't
They were
Locke in a
shit.
different-
They were
Locke was
shit.
shit.
They
I
were
still
all
like
shit.
Buck.
And I I
Buck-
didn't like
Buck's
any of them.
cool.
Ruined Buck. Ruined Buck.
Buck's, he was the same. What do you mean they ruined it?
Allow
They're all
Buck.
shit.
Allow Buck from his ODST.
I wouldn't
days.
mind
Iceman.
them doing something more with those characters and redeeming them. I think I prefer that to just being written off.
Yeah,
All jokes
like Locke's,
aside.
oh,
Which
Locke's
is
dead all of a
half
sudden.
what I
Sorry
suppose
guys,
they were
sorry guys, Locke's dead, and we can't fix it because we're shit. That's basically
Yeah,
343
I think that would
saying
just be
they're
them
shit.
admitting, like, we suck, we can't write a good character. Like, you know,
But that's true. That would
make
be
me
them
like
admitting
him.
the truth and
Make
trying
me
to learn
like
from
Locke. Shut up.
Make
Look,
me
I said
like
it was a hot
Locke.
take. Okay, I'll take all the flack that comes from saying that.
You can, and I'm sending flack. Here it is.
I'm
sent it.
shoveling it into my mouth.
Let
I'm
me
shooting
like
the flack.
Swallowing the flack.
I mean, wasn't Locke originally in something else before Halo 5? Or was it?
No. Halo 5
Was
was
it
the
not-
first time.
Was
No,
it
they
not-
did a show with him as
They
well.
did- it wasn't a show, it was like
there
a
was
film,
like a prequel
but
show,
it was
yeah,
like-
but
but
it
it
was
wasn't
tied
a-
into Halo 5.
Oh really?
He wasn't a Spartan in that.
No, he was an
just
only
a-
assassin, wasn't he? Turned Spartan.
something like that.
And they tell bits of his story in Halo 2 Anniversary. You learn about like what he did before he became a Spartan, and his like job. Like he was trying to track down the Arbiter, and he
Luke
learned a
Cage.
lot about Thelvadam and everything. So he was Luke Cage.
Thelva Dam, is that the white guy?
Thelvadam is the Arbiter.
Oh. Oh, I was thinking about Artas Vadum then. I must have been getting it mixed up.
The Arbiter is the white guy. Yeah. The white guy. Oh, you just mean
I
his,
just
his
said his
shipmaster
fucking
yeah,
name.
it was.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Which
That
doesn't
guy.
make much sense
What
to be
year
honest.
was
Weird
Halo
Covenant
Night
name,
for?
weird Sangheili name.
Yeah. But that's
Oh, okay.
that's
2015.
that. I
Yeah, that makes sense.
I guess I'm interested to see where they go in terms of like exploring Zeta Halo, exploring the Forerunners past with the Endless, and delving into that a little bit deeper. Like I just think the ending of Halo Infinite was very mysterious.
Yeah, well,
and, like,
they ended up
vague,
in
and
a
I think
place
that
where
was
they didn't
cool.
sort of know. They were
Yeah,
like, where are we?
and that's the thing that was so cool about that whole ending is like while the weapon is trying to stop the Harbinger, there's like a transmission that's sentient and it's helping her. And then at the end, in the legendary ending, when the Forerunner is talking to Exuberant Witness, I think that's the AI that it was. He says right at the end, he's like, offensive bias has been deployed. So maybe offensive bias is still active on Zeta Halo, and that's what was helping the weapon. And that's like a big thing that they could go into, because offensive bias was like a big part of stopping Mendicant bias when it like joined with the
Classic
Gravemind and the
Mendicant
Flood.
bias.
So it's almost like that. Yeah, it's I feel like offensive bias has got to show up in some way. And that's going to be sort of like maybe a threat, maybe an unlikely ally to the Chief,
It'll be
potentially.
like Guilty
Maybe
Spark.
they're on the same side here. And that's... do you know Guilty Spark is now a robot, like, person?
What?
Like it happened in a novel. There was... So they found the remnants of Guilty Spark, and they downloaded the AI, and they had like a big conversation with it, and it turns out that Guilty Spark was originally a human, and was all of the
Oh yeah,
the
I knew
monitors.
this is a long time ago as well.
yeah, it was a while ago, but all of the monitors are actually humans. So the Forerunners turned humans into monitors, so they're not actually AI, they're actually humans that have just had their like consciousness uploaded into like a robot body. And that's what 343 is. 343 Guilty Spark was a human that was kidnapped and actually lived on Zeta Halo in the Forerunner period.
That's why he
And-
has memory of the like Halo rings being fired, and that's why there's theories about Chief being like some isodidact of like.
Oh, so like, yeah,
past
so
life,
the-
like
yeah.
he, yeah,
Because there's
because
the
like
isodidact and there's the erdidact, and like the isodidact like imprinted himself on a human. Was it a
And there's
human?
a-
No,
and-
it was
yeah.
a Forerunner. It was one of the lower rates. It was a manipular called Born Stellar.
Yeah,
but
Born Stellar
apparently-
something. whatever the
Born
fuck it-
Stellar
but
makes
there is
Eternal,
the theory
yeah.
that
he became a didact.
Chief was
He's
you
like
know,
the
them.
imprint of the one
yeah,
of
the
the
imprint,
didacts.
yeah, that when they indexed the human race and stuff after the rings were fired, there's that sort of theory, and Guilty Spark, all the way back in Halo 1 saying, how do you not know about the Halo ring? You were
Yeah.
there, like how do you
Yeah.
not know that this is? And that was that moment and it does give you a bit of goosebumps that wow, that was Halo 1, that first hint was given. And now
Yeah.
we're getting this.
Yeah,
And
when
I
he's
do
like,
like all that stuff.
Why
It's
would
really
you
cool.
hesitate to do what you have already done?
Yeah,
I love
it's
that
like
line.
last time I asked you,
Yeah, it's so
last
cool.
time we were here, you asked me, would I do it? And oh my god, it's amazing. In the fucking Forerunner saga novels, you get to see that scene where Born Stella, who's now got the imprint of the Didact, fires the Halo rings, and he turns to 343 Guilty Spark and he says, "If it were you, would you do it?" And Guilty Spark doesn't respond, and then you play Halo 1 and he says, after considerable time to ponder it, "Yes, I would have fired the rings." It's just like such a good moment. It like gave me goosebumps reading that through for the first time.
I need to read the
Forerunner Saga is really, really
Halo
good.
books, definitely.
Yeah, and they give you a lot of info on like Zeta Halo, especially the second one, Primordium. It's all set on Zeta Halo, which is really cool. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how they handle all this stuff and where they take it, like moving forward. And I do think 343 know what they're doing in terms of lore, because when you look at all of like the extended media, it's all so interesting.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot you can do there if you handle it in the right ways.
I think 343 is sometimes afraid of using the lore that they have to their disposal, though, because they don't want to alienate people that don't read the outer media or read the books. So whether they could do really cool stories with this lore, it almost like they don't fully delve into it, because they always want this to be accessible to everybody, because, I mean, Halo's Microsoft's biggest like franchise.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I think it's all about trying to incorporate stuff in the best way you can, in a way that makes sense to mainstream audiences too. And I think they're doing a pretty good job with it.
They are,
to be honest.
To be fair. Infinite felt a lot more lore-oriented. It felt like it was more in tune to Halo lore than 4 and 5 was, without being confusing. I mean, that's to me, as someone who hasn't read any of the Halo novels at all, but I know bits and bobs about outer lore in the Halo universe and stuff, and it was good.
Yeah. Is there anything else we wanted to delve into with that, or do we want to move on to the multiplayer before we finish the podcast?
I suppose we can move on to the multiplayer.
Yeah, multiplayer and other features that we possibly want to see in the game. There's other things that I want to see that I don't know if they're adding them in.
I mean, for me, I'm never going to touch Infinite again. I would say until the next campaign. Like, I'm not going to play. Like, I played maybe 2 matches of the multiplayer, thought it was fine, and then I played with you guys when we recorded the video that will eventually come out on the network. Yeah. That's the only Halo Infinite multiplayer I've played, and I probably won't touch it again.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to touch Forge or Firefight or anything like that. I'm just sort of, moved on. The campaign didn't do enough to draw me into the other parts of the game, to all my stuff in Halo, but that's me. I know you guys have played a bit more than me, so I thought I'll get my who cares about opinion out of the way.
Oh, I haven't been playing much Halo multiplayer. You haven't
either, Ethan?
I've played a decent bit.
I'm not gonna lie. For me, it comes back to that. I don't want to pay, like extra. I know the multiplayer is like its own free model, whatever, but I don't want to pay extra, or whatever, just to be able to progress.
I'm with you. That's why I don't want to play it. It doesn't feel accessible.
And I love the sense of progression. Even in say Halo 4, I enjoyed the progression sense of the multiplayer. Like, I enjoyed unlocking stuff and customizing and things like that, and that's sort of locked behind paywalls. Otherwise, you get like gimped gear or whatever that just doesn't look particularly good. I just thought to myself, fucking what? Not for me. I don't think. I'll fire it up for a laugh. Nothing affects how the game actually plays, to my knowledge. So, it's not a big deal. But I feel like it just doesn't feel right to me. It's fun multiplayer underneath all of it, but it don't feel right because it feels like it's missing some of that soul of people playing the game to progress, which is exactly why previous Halo's multiplayers would be so addictive. Yeah. Is because you want to rank up and progress and get all that stuff. So I never really got round to with Infinite. I never really got round to going, you know what, I'm gonna give the multiplayer a good crack, because I knew that there would just be nothing there for me. Like, I wouldn't see any reward in investing in playing the multiplayer non-stop for too much time. And I'm not against it. I probably will fire it up on occasion, and I definitely will enjoy it in those moments, but I know it's not something I can consistently sit down and play and get to grips with.
Yeah.
And also there's fucking Spartans with cat ears.
There is that, yeah.
Some of them look like fucking Optimus Prime. They've got a colour scheme of a Transformer.
Colour scheme, yeah.
Yeah.
Although those were free, that skin.
No wonder half of the player base has
Yeah,
it.
That's true. Everyone has it equipped.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
the cat ears, man.
The cat ears are silly. Cat ears different.
Yeah, and they were like $10 or something.
Yeah,
for those
it's
cat
more the
ears.
price.
$10 for cat ears on a Spartan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the
Like,
fuck?
the idea of having stupid
Why?
cosmetics like that doesn't bother me. It's the fact that it costs so much to fucking buy them. If you
Or
wanted
if it was
to.
just something that you could slap on for a joke.
Yeah.
Brilliant. But no, it's a cosmetic item.
Yeah, the
that
store
costs
is a
money.
joke. I mean, I don't have a huge issue with like the battle pass system necessarily. I mean, I think it could be implemented better. Since it's free to play, I didn't mind paying the like however much it costs, like $7.99 or whatever, just to get the full unlock roster, whatever. It's like I'm paying to unlock, this full selection of stuff. It's whatever. I pay it every like 3 to 4 months when a new one comes out. It's not a big deal to me, really. I guess it's sort of a subscription-based thing. It sort of doesn't feel entirely new, especially when it's like a free game otherwise. So I felt kind of okay with that. The only issue I have, though, is that the way the battle pass works, the way the progression works, the way you gain XP, the content that's there, the different playlists, everything is so very lacking. And the way you customize, like, I don't like the armor core system. Like, let me customize it completely. Like, let me put like the samurai helmet on with a Mark V body and fucking whatever else, parts that I want to do. Let me do that. Why is it restricting me? Why is it taking me so long to level up? Why do I not get match XP from performance and medals? Like, why do I not get extra XP from winning? Why are the fucking colors skins instead of letting me fully customize? Why can't I fully customize my emblem, my nameplate, all of those things? The game feels like it lacks so much soul.
Why
of
is there
Halo.
no in-game lobby so you can check other people's
I've
armor
got a
out?
question.
and stuff
In-game
like
lobbies, exactly. Like, why
I
is
have
the
a
UI
question.
so ugly and grey and flat? Like, what? Everything just feels like it's missing. It feels like it's completely lacking. It feels like it's not ready, and that's probably because it wasn't.
So my question is, wasn't there a color scheme that was in the base, like multiplayer customization, but then was being sold the exact same?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
As a microtransaction.
Yeah.
With a
So because
different name.
every color is different on each armor core. So on Mark V, the game comes with blue, cadet blue, but you can't get cadet blue on the samurai armor. You have to buy that in the store. It's the exact
Well, it's
same
not
color
buying
scheme.
it in the store. It's doing the event to get it, but...
It was in the store though.
Was
They
it?
were selling it in the store. Yeah. It was in the store.
No, surely fucking not.
I have a
Because
picture
you
of it.
can
I put
get
it in,
the
I
blue.
put it in my video.
You can get Cadet Blue by just playing through the Fractured Tenrai events. They're actually... Not only are they splitting colours on cores, but they're also selling free content in the store. What the fuck is wrong with them, man?
Yeah, it's fucking weird.
They've also done a lot of skin like where they get like a weapon skin and change the colour scheme ever so slightly and then sell that in the store as well.
There
There's
it is.
a
I put it
lot
in
of
chat.
that. There's a lot of that. Let's have a look.
Yeah. I suppose
That
one's
doesn't
a
show you. That
slight-
doesn't show you the store page, but there was another one.
No,
with the
but
store
they're
page.
exactly the same colours.
They're exactly the
It
same.
got
Maybe
shows.
maybe Untethered Wind is a slightly darker blue, but it's completely. It's still just as ridiculous.
That's the same.
Yeah, I
It's
also
weird.
don't
That's
like how instead of just introducing new game modes, they're waiting to make an event. They're like, oh, it needs to be an event, and then you unlock the game mode as a playlist. It's like with Fiesta. It was like that wasn't a game mode originally. Then the Fractured Tenrai event happens, and then Fiesta becomes a game mode. It's like, dude, we've had all these game modes in other Halo games for years. You don't have to drip feed them to us. Just fucking give me Griffball, give me Infection, give me King of the Hill, give me all that shit. You don't need to fucking
VIP
like.
team
You don't need to
doubles.
tease it and go, oh, look at this that we're going to bring back. Release all the game modes that we're used to and then make new ones
Yeah.
that you can
exactly.
drip feed to us. Like, it's
Daft.
fucking, it's so lazy. And that's not to say, I played the fuck out of Halo Infinite's multiplayer. Like, I played the shit out of it. If you saw some of the gameplay uploaded onto Twitter, I was doing some crazy bits
Yeah.
because I play it every single fucking day for hours. But there's so many issues with it that I just stopped playing. I didn't even finish. I got to about rank 84 on the battle pass, unlocked the Mark 6 helmet, and then stopped playing straight away because there was nothing else
Jesus.
that was real. There's about 4 fucking maps.
And that's
Like,
the
it's
thing, right?
ridiculous.
As well, is like when you get to like the point in the battle pass where like you get something you want. What's the point in playing? Or
Exactly.
like if you were to finish the battle pass, what's the point in playing? Because there's no level system. There's
Yeah.
no rank.
Yeah, there's
Like,
no,
why
like-
don't you have a rank?
It's like,
What's
I
that
think they had a
about?
really good ranking system in Halo 4. multiplayer, or was it Halo 4 or was it Halo 5? But they have like the S.
Halo 4 went up to like SR 130.
Yeah, I liked that. I liked that.
I did quite
leveling
like
system.
that.
Or even
I liked Halo 4.
Halo
I liked
3.
I got
Halo
into
3.
the hundreds.
Halo
on
3's was
that,
fucking
I enjoyed.
amazing. It was relentless.
It was. You
Like,
lose a
you
game,
had to win
you
a
lose
game
XP.
to get 1 XP. Yeah, you lose a game, you don't gain your XP. You got to win like 2 games in a row. Like if you do ranked, like you're gonna level up quicker, but it's way harder, and you start losing XP. It's
To be
that
fair,
was,
what we
you know,
really need is reach customization, reach XP gain.
Reach was,
We need credits, not these fucking in-store credits. I want credits that I earn via playing the fucking game.
Yeah, how all games should work.
Yeah.
How all games should work.
And then you can choose what you want to unlock based on what you want to actually customize.
Yeah, based on how many credits you
and
have,
you
what
can
level
work
you
towards
are.
that rather than just I can afford this, I'm gonna slap it on, or I've unlocked this. It looks like shit, but at least it's not the default rookie look.
Give
It'll
us
be fine.
playable elites, then I can customize my elite as well. But to be fair,
Sorry.
if they introduce
I've been coughing like a
customizable
mad bastard.
elites, I would be very afraid of them just monetizing the fuck out of that and just making it even worse. So I'm almost afraid of asking for that. I also think the multiplayer, the sandbox is fucking brilliant, like in terms of the way it plays, but I think there's not enough weapons, and there are weapons that were taken out that I don't see any reason for it. Plasma rifle, why would you take the plasma rifle out and replace it with the pulse carbine? It's a piece of shit weapon that's only situationally useful in a very, very small amount of situations. I'd love to have the carbine, I'd love to have the plasma rifle back, I'd love to have the fuel rod cannon, I'd love to have the OG Magnum, the original pump shotgun. There's so, like, the SMG, spikers, like there's so many, brute shot, so many weapons.
Spartan laser.
Spartan
They've replaced
laser,
it with the
yeah.
skewer.
So I love the
What's that
skewer,
about?
don't get me wrong.
There were some just weird weapons, and I'm like, what are you trying to
The
do?
skewer is great with panic shots. Like someone would rock up behind you, you just turn around and shoot them, and they'd be
don't
dead.
get me wrong, the skewer is great, but you don't also need to remove the Spartan laser. Just have it so
Exactly,
you know,
like just have.
certain maps
You
have
can
the
have
Spartan
both.
laser and certain
Yeah.
maps have the skewer. Even though Spartan laser is pretty OP, but like it's
You can
a
have.
good weapon.
Well, the skewer's pretty OP if you hit somebody with it.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, like the
instant kill.
Spartan laser will instant kill most vehicles, whereas the skewer takes a couple of shots. I think that's why they got rid of the Spartan laser, because it was really overpowered. But
Could have just nerfed it.
But they just appear. That you know sometimes it wasn't like a common thing to get Spartan lasered in a vehicle if you were maneuvering proper and you were just drifting about.
it was easy
and trying
to
avoid.
Spartan laser other people, though, I guess. So it just I
I
was never
suppose, yeah, but
really
it's
on the
also-
receiving end
it's-
of it.
Also, it's easy enough to skewer people. I don't. If you pick up that weapon, which you have to pick up by finding it before somebody else does, I think it is your right to then demolish a vehicle with the laser.
I guess
You know
people
what
were
I
just
mean?
getting annoyed with it, because I did hear that was the reason why they introduced the skewer and got rid of the laser, is because the laser was just too accurate and too powerful, whereas the skewer takes a little bit more skill and it's less powerful.
To be fair, I have no skill at all, and I got a few panic shots off with the skewer. Just somebody rock up behind you, turn around, and just slap them with it without using the.
I do like it a
the
lot.
scope or
It's
whatever,
very
and
satisfying.
It's good. It's good close quarters, which is surprising because it is a long range sort of weapon. But I really enjoy picking up the skewer because I'm like, somebody's gonna die and it's not gonna be me yet.
Yeah, it's good fun. I do like the skewer. It's a good bit of kit.
Yeah.
I think I'm most worried that like Halo Infinite is going to be playing catch up for so long, they're never going to have a chance to introduce new things.
Yeah.
Hasn't the
like
hasn't
Halo
the interest in it already sort of dropped?
Yeah, I mean they're losing a lot of players all the time.
Well, that's what happens when
It's
you release
dropping and dropping.
half of
See,
the multiplayer,
Eddie and
absent
Sheps said this
modes.
thing as well, but that they were using like the PC stats to get that. The Xbox stats are actually
PC
going up
stats.
currently. The
I
player
see,
base of
okay.
Halo Infinite on Xbox is going up right now. Yeah, players. Are
Oh, so
starting
the
to come
PC
back to
crowd
it.
is not very patient with it, but the Xbox crowd is.
Oh yeah, it was because most
that's
of
not-
Halo's player base.
well, they
is
don't
on
have anything
Xbox.
else to play, so
It was
I'm
like
sure that's
something
fine.
that's fair
like
enough.
10%
years
of all Xbox accounts that were logged in the last 10 days played Halo Infinite or something like that. Like it was quite a decent amount.
Oh,
it was
that's
like
fair.
in the millions
That's fair enough.
or something like that. Mint Blitz made a video
Yeah,
on it, it's
well-
pretty good. But yeah, I mean, obviously they did have a huge drop off, and rightly fucking so, because the game sucked when it came out, like the multiplayer
Yeah.
side of things. And it in many ways it still does suck. They need to sort a lot of things out with it still.
Yeah, there's a lot they need to do. I mean, the game needs... I mean, the whole multiplayer system, I think, needs a complete overhaul from the ground up. Like, there is so much about it that I just want them to just, like, strip it all back. Like, just from even from stuff like the menus, like, just change the whole UI. It looks so ugly. I hate
it's
it.
awful, innit?
Navigating it is just bad. Like, when you look at Master Chief Collection, it's so stylized. It looks so cool.
And it's easy.
And it just looks terrible in Halo Infinite. You know, you got so many weapons missing. You got a lack of progression, a compelling way to level up. You don't have a rank system. You don't have pre-game lobbies. You can't veto maps. Like,
theater mode doesn't work either.
Yeah, theater mode's broken. You got such a lack of game modes.
No Forge.
Even still, it's just the game it's in such a state that, like, you know, in 6 months they're still going to be trying to catch up.
They will
with
be.
Getting it to, like, in like a finished place.
For sure.
That it's going to take them so long before they're in a position where they can start actually doing, like, really cool, unique new events and adding really cool new things to the game where it feels like there's an abundance of content. Like they have with, like, MCC, where, like, every time they add something new, it's so cool because they've got such a solid base. There's so much content, and they just keep adding to it. Whereas with Infinite, it's like they're scrambling to, like, fix tiny things. Like, our BTB's broken.
It's not anymore.
Into a BTB
they fixed
game.
it.
Oh, they fixed it. Finally. Months after the game
your
came out,
guys'
they
fucking
fixed
information is old.
it. Finally. They fixed it. Wow.
Yeah, so people can actually play BTB now. Yeah, without
it's
being
ridiculous.
glitched out. Although people were apparently very happy with the Cyber Showdown event that happened recently, which introduced a new game mode that was like, I think it was 3v3, limited amount of lives.
Attrition, was it?
Attrition, yeah. And if you die a certain amount of times, you have to be rezzed or something like that. So it's basically Trials of Osiris from Destiny, but in Halo. And I think people really enjoyed that. So they are doing good things. I don't want to focus just on the bad things. They're doing good things with the Halo Infinite multiplayer, but it just isn't enough. Yeah, I think maybe in a year and a bit, it'll be the game that everyone wanted it to be upon launch, but
it should be that
means
at
nothing.
launch,
Yeah,
really.
exactly. It means nothing to say.
Will people come back? Like, I will. If they make a good game out of it, I will, because I love Halo.
Yeah.
But what about the casual people that have dropped off? They're never coming back.
Yeah.
Like, they're moving on. They're playing something else.
Playing Warzone.
And that's a huge
well,
shame.
fuck them, you know. In the end of the day, if casual people want to drop off, but Halo fans stick around, and it winds up being worthwhile, considering the multiplayer is free to play in itself, then, you know what, fair play. That'll be good for Halo fans.
It's the most literal sense of free to play, though, isn't it? Because it's free to play, but you can't fucking do anything else.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's free to play. It's just not.
Yeah.
It's just not. It's almost free to play, but not free to stay. If
Yeah,
that makes
yeah,
sense. Like,
yeah.
you can play it for as long as you want, but if you want to feel like you're actually working towards something, then you need to pay.
Yeah.
And I think
sure.
that's why they probably omitted an actual ranking system, because if you had any sense of progression in the game, you might not buy the battle pass. Because, like, if you wanna feel like you're leveling up, you've got to buy the battle pass, because you're not otherwise.
Yeah.
You're not leveling up. You're not ranking up. There's nothing to show for it.
And those sorts of games just push me away instantly as soon as you're a subscription service. I've got enough subscriptions to shit. As soon as something's like, I'm a subscription service, I'm out.
The only
That's
subscription
I bought
I'll
Halo
accept
Infinite
is,
outright. I don't have Game Pass, because I was like, I would rather pay more and not ever have to sign up for a fucking, subscription
You
service.
sound
Because,
like my
I've got too
mum.
many subscriptions.
but it's true, because, dude, like, I own Halo, and I'm not going to want to play Halo in 2 months. I'm not going to want to play it in 3 months. And I'm not going to want to play it in 4 months. But a year and a half, I might randomly want to play it. I'm not signing up again to a fucking subscription service.
The only subscription
It'll
service
still
I'll
cost you
accept
less
is
money.
I have
the
it.
critically
I
acclaimed
have it.
No More
I still have
RPG.
it. But that's only if I then go and
online.
cancel it. Because those sorts of things you just fucking forget to cancel. Oh, shit, I need to cancel that. Another payment just came out of that shit.
There
Yeah,
was a
I'm spending
joy
fuckload
to the
on it. It's fucking
simplicity
bullshit.
of. There was a joy to the simplicity of progression before battle passes, I think, because you could fire up that game as provided that the online servers were still being maintained and people still playing it, and progress and unlock the same stuff as everybody else.
Yeah.
You didn't have to start at a specific point. You didn't have to be there for specific events. You didn't need to be there for any of that. And while they would be great on top, on occasion, for this, that, or the other, there's at least this standard progression that doesn't change and is rewarding, across the board, and you get cool shit out of it.
Classic.
Yeah. It's just that these days, developers or publishers care less about selling their game. They care less about base game sales. They care more about concurrent players. And so
They think
games are
but
now
also-
built to keep bringing people back so they can show their shareholders or whoever, look how many people still play our game. And that matters more than how many people have bought the game.
Yeah.
And I suppose it's also a case of, if we provide longevity through, if you'd look cool as fuck with this rare piece of gear that only people who played it at this specific point would be able to get, and then they're like, oh, so this person's basically just getting tons and tons and tons and tons of gear because they keep buying these battle passes and shit like that. And fair play, I suppose, in the sense that it is a more modern, I suppose, take on a progression system in an online game where you'd have these periods where you'd be able to unlock specific things within that, and then you'd be able to go forward with that. But I also saw it also feels a little bit like soulless, because it's always based on just trying to keep the engagement up, being like, listen, this is how many people play this game, this is how many people have played it since which points, and we can tell that based on certain statistics or whatever. And to me, I just think it's a lot of fluff. I just want a fun multiplayer that I can progress in at my own pace whenever I feel like it, and feel like I'm being rewarded fairly for that, rather than have no progression system unless I pay for a fucking battle pass that expires in 4 months.
It doesn't
and then
expire, to be fair. You can always
What does it
choose
do?
to. They said in the original multiplayer reveal that you can choose to put experience towards any of the battle passes you want, which is good, because a lot of games don't do that.
But it's still not too good.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it doesn't
Because-
excuse anything they've done.
So it's no longer like, okay, so that kind of undermines my first point a little bit. So what you're saying is, everything, you can still unlock everything at any point through those outside of events, because the battle pass you can still invest in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
for the seasons,
Yeah,
yeah.
I suppose.
Although you do
I
lose
suppose so,
access
but it's
to the
beyond,
free
it
areas.
it is still behind a paywall that is disguised in a free-to-play game that is actually just a part of the game that's $60, $70 unless you've got Game Pass.
Who doesn't have Game Pass? Let's be honest.
I suppose so. I suppose that's fair. So I suppose that is a reasonable point.
Microsoft are giving it away at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because they're monopolising the games industry
Like,
because they
here,
can afford
have
to.
a free trial. Have another free trial.
Have another free trial, and also
Have a 20-year
it's really
free
cheap.
trial.
It's really cheap anyway, so I mean, even if you don't have a free trial, just buy it.
It's literally
Yeah.
pennies.
Eddie and Sheps don't
But I
like
sup-
it, do they? They don't like Game Pass.
No, they don't like it.
I'm gonna beat their
I
heads in.
mean, I think they don't. I think they.
They don't like Microsoft or Phil Spencer. That's what it is, to be honest.
Yeah, I just had because George, you were just on their podcast. I was the.
They were fucking talking about NFTs and that, and the good possibilities of NFTs on their podcast the
Were
other
they
day.
really?
I had to
surely
fucking tell them
not.
to shut up. To be honest.
that does sound like Eddie and Sheps. They'll chat about anything from an innocent angle until
And
they
then they'll come out with the
until they
worst fucking
realise.
takes ever in the entire
They
world.
actually do. Like, they are known. Like, they make. That's why we keep them around. They make us look so much better.
They do. They make us
Because
look like geniuses.
Everyone sees them and they're like, my God, well, look at these fucking idiots.
I
Those four
ended
pillars
up having a
guys.
screaming match with Sheps on the last episode I went on because he doesn't like Aloy and Horizon.
Oh,
He just-
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
She doesn't. She's
She's
like
not
she doesn't
curious
have
enough.
any. She's not curious enough. I'm like, you're a. First of all, you're a fucking idiot. Like,
Oh my
I just got
God.
so.
It's literally
I was
her
sitting there in
core
silence while he
character
was
trait.
talking.
Yeah.
I was like, that's the whole point of the story. Is you dumb fuck. Like, I just got so mad at him. I was like, are you kidding me? All the
It was-
comments
it was
were
like-
agreeing with me.
He was like, "Oh, she's not curious enough," and I was like, "Yeah, but what about when you explore all of like the old places that are like optional that you don't have to go to? That's canonically Aloy
Yeah.
being curious and going there and
No,
exploring."
no, because she doesn't say lines like,
I'm curious.
Oh, that's
Wow,
good.
I'm curious. Oh, wow, that's interesting.
Yeah,
I've never
with
seen
Eddie
that
and
before.
Sheps, it's
Oh,
with
wow,
Eddie and
what's in
Sheps,
here?
they
It's like you
things
just
to be on the
infer,
nose.
don't you? You like see how she's acting. You look at her facial expression. You're like, oh, she's really curious.
And there's no male characters. Everyone's female. Pretty much what he's trying to say.
Oh yeah, that was a really
oh
weird point they
my
brought up
god!
the
No,
other day.
no, 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 no! I hate it.
It was
oh
like all
god!
the bad characters of
I
all the
just-
villains
I had no
of men
idea. I
and
had
all the
no-
good characters of
I had
women.
no
All I am
idea.
And I
going
was
to
just
say,
like,
This
wait,
is his
oh, wait,
opinion.
have you
is-
I had
forgotten
no
about, like,
idea.
Aaron and like fucking like
Yeah, you
Vas
forgot about
and,
everyone.
like, is that his name? Val? That's his name, isn't it? Val.
Val, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah.
like all
Ross,
the good characters.
Silence.
nothing.
Yeah, Ross.
I mean, no, the silence
Like,
good.
what are we
but silence
doing,
is.
man?
It was so this was where it like the like he said it to me is it because there was a comment I got on a video and he said like he agreed with this is the comment just said it's a highly feministic game. I'm not speaking about Aloy, she's totally okay, but every antagonist plus the head of the corporation which screwed up are all males. Even Hades has a
Hades
male
is
voice. While
Hades
all the
is a
good
robot.
guys are female, still a wonderful game. Just worth noting the regular woke propaganda message. Also, great
Aaron,
video, thank you.
Val, two very
Oh my
popular
God.
game characters who happen to have vaginas.
But that's
Women
but that's
can't be
Eddie.
prominent. It's
All
bad.
I'm going to say on Eddie and Sheps is what could you expect from two clampets who like the Snyder
Just call
Cut?
them crumpets.
It's true.
Clampets.
No, he called them clampets, and I agree with that. That we do know they are a couple.
Yeah,
clampets.
that's very true.
But that's okay. They make us look better, and that's why they're around.
Yeah, that's why we love them.
But also I
they're a
also
funny
disciplined
bunch. I
I
like Eddie
disciplined
and Sheps.
Sheps on the show and the comment section on that episode of the podcast. showed that. Everyone being like, "Thank
Disciplining a
God."
man.
Someone said something to Sheps was terrible take on Horizon Zero Dawn. But with that said, the next time we're here on this episode, on this podcast,
We'll never be on this episode.
we'll be talking about we're not on this episode. We'll be talking about Horizon Forbidden West. Jesus.
We will.
Calling
Oh
that
my
out.
god, it's so
Oh, yeah.
close now.
Yeah.
Oh my
It's
god.
so
yeah.
Well, from the
Close.
time this episode releases, it's
5
like 2
days. Oh my
Yeah.
god, it's 5 days from right now when we're recording. This is
Yeah,
exciting.
So that's
Holy shit.
we've put up. If you haven't seen it, a video on the Four Pillars Network, the top 10 things we're excited about heading into Horizon Forbidden West. Go check that out if
That's
you
hit
haven't already.
the algorithm as well. It's doing bits,
It's
so-
done well. It's done
doing
well.
okay.
More of those to come in the future. Those types of videos. And hopefully we can get this first collab video out in the next couple of weeks. Also, hopefully, by the time this is out, not this is out. Sorry, the next episode's out. We're talking about Horizon. We've got one of those out. But with that said, I don't think we have anything else to talk about with Halo. We've been pretty fucking thorough with it.
We have, yeah.
We have
And
20-minute
we've
conversation.
dragged it
though.
talked about God. We've got a new show that's coming to the Four Pillars Network.
we did-
Also,
we
Confessions
did speak
with
about
Father
God.
Woodgate.
Are we actually doing
Yeah,
that?
we are.
Say
That's happening.
If we
It's
are
happening,
actually
yeah,
doing
we're
that,
doing
I am
it.
more than fucking happy
you need to wear
to
a robe.
convert to Christianity.
That would
You
be
need to wear a
so
robe.
actually go
Yep.
full shebang. Oh god,
You just reading people's confessions anonymously are fucking hilarious. I want it so badly. It would
Oh,
just be
man.
such a funny show.
Oh fuck.
People want it, let us know in the comments. Again, thank you all for tuning in, for listening on podcast services here on YouTube. If you're watching, like this video, subscribe to the channel, turn notification on the Four Pillars Network, Four Pillars Clips channel, and of course, rate us if you're on podcast services. That does help us sort of get pushed up the algorithm and
I
people.
thought you said
people
raid
see
us.
Rate us. No.
Jesus arrest
You
Rate
just spend too much time on Twitch. But yes, thank you everyone for listening to this episode of the Four Pillars Podcast. Thank you boys for being here as I mean, so far
Always.
this year we're undefeated, 2-0.
Yeah.
All four of us. So let's keep this
It's only,
going.
A good
it's
track
only
record.
inevitable that one time one of us is going to sleep in it. It'll either be me or James.
That's true. Or I'll be away.
And oh well, it won't be me sleeping in. It'll be me not being able to sleep until like 6 a.m. and then dying.
Yeah. You do.
The worst it's been
I'm
is 5
convinced
minutes
you don't
before
sleep,
recording.
but that's okay.
I do. I'm just very erratic with it because I probably have insomnia.
Yeah.
That's right, you guys can
that's-
always count on me
so-
to be here. Believe it.
Well,
Yeah.
well, we
I
can
didn't
count on you to
sleep
be
last
late.
night.
We can count on you to be late.
Well,
That
yeah,
we
I'll
do
be
know.
consistently
Every fucking
late, but I'll
episode.
be here.
You'll be late, but we'll delay the recording.
He was like
just
so
that we
ready
can keep
before,
up
and then like
appearances.
2 minutes before we start recording, he's like, "Oh, by the way, I'm gonna make some porridge. I'll be a bit." That's a fucking late cunt. And don't eat
I love
fucking
me a bit
porridge.
of porridge 2
You
minutes
late
before
fuck.
a Four Pillars podcast.
Yeah.
Honestly, right?
Now it's almost
How did you
11:30
not-
at night. I want to go to bed.
I was eating some lovely porridge and banana
I
and
feel
honey.
sorry for.
and
I
I'm
feel
gonna
sorry
sit here
for
and listen to you
anyone
talk about
watching
Halo Infinite
this.
multiplayer.
I feel sorry for anyone listening to this episode where I was talking about God for like 30 minutes.
I think this
if they were
episode will
eating
be
porridge.
remembered. To be quite honest, I'll remember it just for
I
the
think it'll be
messy
forgotten.
fucking start. No, I love the messy.
This
start
episode will
to
be
it.
lost
The messy
to history.
start, it was brilliant. We were
25
talking about
minutes of us
enlightenment.
just fucking not knowing how to transition into Halo. It was so fucking funny.
I had the perfect transition. I went, James, what do you think of Halo?
It's like
And I went,
symbolically.
Tyler, what do you think of
you know,
Halo? And they went, nah, let's talk about something else first. And I was like, nah,
we were
I've
talking
already
about
taken up that time with
I'm
God.
about to say we were talking about revision then. We were talking about religion, and then this Halo spoiler
We were
cast.
talking about
Well, how about
religion,
instead
let's
of
talk about
reliving
God.
it, let's end it. That
Yeah,
would be-
what the
I know,
fuck
I
are we
wanna-
talking through for?
Do you
We were all
Do
there.
you guys remember?
We all
2 hours ago?
know.
I just want to go to bed now, George. Ladies and gentlemen,
He just wants
thank
to
you
go
all
sleep.
for listening. We'll see you all on the next episode of the Four Pillars podcast, where we'll be talking,
man.
probably not spoilers yet, but a bit about Horizon Forbidden West, plus much, much more. Thank you again, and we'll see you next time.
Take it
Goodbye.
Hello, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.